All right, guys, how you doing? Gabe DeArmond here, getting ready. Just got the game called up. Looks like they are warming up. Not yet quite on the field, but appreciate those of you who are already here waiting for us to get going. And hopefully more people will jump in as we move along here. Just going to kind of hang out, talk about the game. I think most of you probably were on our pregame show or saw the news at least earlier that Missouri is without a ton of guys. Kobe Whiteside, Darius Robinson, Akil Byers, Kiki Chisholm, Dominic Jacinto, Damon Hazelton, Stacy Brown, Tyler Jones. Those are the ones we know about. I think that's all of them, but not positive. There could always be a few more. I'm move some things around on the screen here. The other early games in the SEC. Florida and A&M, Vandy and South Carolina. Those should be getting started pretty soon. And Mizzou, sorry about that. Mizzou and LSU look like they're getting started now. So look, like I said at the end of the pregame show, just me this week because originally, obviously, Mitch was going to be with me. The game got moved from Baton Rouge to Columbia, which means he is at the stadium. So he's doing his thing there. Starting next week on this show, we're going to get a former player, a high school coach, whatever, some people I know to join me for this and give you guys some real football insight into what they're seeing as the game goes along. But just want your comments. Let's talk about the game as things kind of unfold. This is not an easy assignment for Missouri today at all. It's going to be interesting. Bobby Lawrence, we can see starting at left tackle. It looked to me like Logan Christopherson was starting at tight end. Let's see. I know that's Towski. I think that's Towski Dove in the slot. Barrett Bannister. Looks like maybe two tight ends. Basilak, going out in motion. Beatty. So, they're going to have to be creative. I'm sorry, that's Roundtree, not Beatty. But they're going to have to be creative today to find ways to move the ball. There's no way, two ways about it. I mean, this is going to be an incredible challenge. And look, this isn't the best LSU team we've seen, right? I mean, they've given up 51 first downs and 25 and a half points per game. Now, that is mostly because of Mississippi State and very little because of Vanderbilt, but this is still a good team. It's just not maybe quite what we've gotten used to at LSU. And again, for those of you who maybe this is the first time you're doing this with me, you're probably ahead of me. My stream seems to run a play or two behind, so again, feel free to comment, say whatever you want to say as it goes, and some of my analysis and thoughts might be a couple snaps behind, but that's all right. Missouri just got to find a way to move the chains. I mean, I said on the pregame show, if you hand the ball off 46 times, I'm good with it. Like Ross said, pound it. Just run the clock. Limit the number of drives LSU is going to get. I don't think this is a game where you can go out and try to score 28 points. I'm not sure this was a game fully healthy. You could go out and try to score 28 points, but I definitely don't think it is now. And short passes like that, little one to Beatty, like that play call, good throw by Basilak. That's the way you're going to have to do it, man. That is the way you're going to have to do it. And now, wow, this is you guys have seen it. I haven't seen it yet. So let's see how this happens. Justin is celebrating every Missouri score. This is going to be a 58-yard touchdown on the flea flicker. So you'd love to see it, man. Connor Bazelak deep to Towski Dove, first touchdown catch of his career. A lot of creativity there. Credit all the Eli Drinkwitz on that one. I mean, that is 100% just creativity and doing something that nobody expects you to do, right? So 58 yards. Wow. Did not expect this one to start that way at all. So Missouri jumps out. Just a minute 53 in. Missouri jumps out 7-0 after the Harrison Mevis PAT. So, man, I mean, I started out today saying, hey, just stick close and maybe give yourself some sort of a chance. And now, just like that, Missouri's up 7-0. And look, there's 58 minutes left in this game. I don't want to get ahead of myself or anything like that. But I did think during the pregame show when we were talking about a little bit, there was a basketball game when Mike Anderson was the head coach here. Damari Carroll was hurt and Steph Hanna was suspended and all kinds of problems. And they had 6 guys against Nebraska, and they were not the top players. I'm not even sure they were all scholarship players. And they went out, and man, they hung with Nebraska all night, and what a great Nebraska team, but lost the game by something like 3 points. And that night, Mike Anderson said how proud he was of that team, and that was kind of when his program took root. Look, if Eli Drinkwitz can get these guys to hang around today, then you know what? That's going to give them confidence, and that's going to give fans confidence in this program. And that's, just find a way to hang around, man. Take this into the third or fourth quarter. Give yourself a shot. That's really the goal today. A good point here, too, by SSO. Yeah, Dove caught the ball. That was not a perfect throw. Didn't have to be. He was so open. You just kind of get it close to him. But he stopped, he caught the ball, and then he worried about where he could go afterwards. Let's be honest, pretty poor tackling on LSU's part. That should not probably have been a touchdown the way that ball was thrown, but it was. And last week we saw Missouri had an 85-yard touchdown in his hands and couldn't make the play. So, big play there by Bazelak, by Dove. Nice job selling the run on the flea flicker. And again, all kinds of credit to Eli Drinkwitz for the call. Martez Manuel missed the first down tackle. Going to need to have a little bit less of that. Stryker wants to know why Dove hasn't played more. He made one catch last year in I think it was the Arkansas game. Really nice catch. But he just hadn't played a lot, but he's going to get his shot. And that's what today's going to be. A lot of guys getting shots that they haven't had before, and maybe they take advantage of it. Markel Utze busting through. Missouri already has more tackles for loss than they had against the run game all last week. They had 0 last week. Markel Utze just got one. So there you go. All right, B-Phil B, good to have you, man. Good to know who you are. Account names differ a little bit, but yeah, 2nd and 12, and if Missouri's going to have a shot in this game, they're going to have to be putting LSU in positions in 3rd and long, in positions they don't want to be in. It's like it's what T. Rise said. And, I mean, the pass worked there, and look, they're going to make some plays, man. They got guys. That was Devin Nicholson in coverage. I'm not sure that's the situation you want to be in, but, that's all right. Yeah, I believe that was LSU's tight end. I'm going to have to look at their roster, which I don't have in front of me. Yeah, that was Eric Gilbert, the true freshman. And, he's a stud, man. 6'5", 250. If you can get him one-on-one with a linebacker, you're in trouble. You're in trouble as the defense, not the offense. LSU take that matchup all day long, no question about it. So, and immediately after getting beaten coverage, Devin Nicholson coming on the blitz and getting a sack and putting LSU in 3rd and long. So first series of the game, Missouri has 2 tackles for loss. All last week, Missouri had 2 tackles for loss. They were both sacks. Missouri has started this game as well as you possibly can. No question about it. Now there's 56 minutes left. Long way to go, but this is how you want to start the game. That's all you can do. Race out as well as you can and put yourself in a good position. LSU's offensive line was already missing the left guard. They got a guy hurt now. So like Stryker says, the offensive line is questionable. No doubt about it. But look, Missouri's defensive line is questionable, and most of the dudes aren't there. So that's it's going to be something to watch. And Stryker wants to know, is it possible that LSU isn't good? It's possible. But again, they have guys. Do a little advertising for Burnout mugs. Here you go. They made these for us last year. Very cool. They keep your coffee hot literally all day long. Local Columbia company, Mizzou guys. So check it out. Also, while we got a commercial, want to thank Colin Gentry Law Group. Going to Gentry, one of the guys there. I've known him for a long time. Check them out. If you got any legal questions, any legal issues, callgentry.com is the website. So you can find them online there. And I'm going to get you their phone number here during the commercial while we got an injury timeout. Call Gentry Law Group. Callgentry.com is the website, and the phone number is 573-644-6090 for a live consultation. They also have online chat. You can do that. So thanks to Colin Gentry for making this possible. But to get back, is it possible LSU isn't good? Yeah, it's possible. They also have about 64 and 5-star players on their roster. So they've got talent. But look, I talked with Rouse Dellinger on our pregame show of Sports Illustrated, and these next couple years are a prove-it year for Ed Orgeron. Because before last year, nobody thought very much of Ed Orgeron as a head coach. And now, yes, he looked great last year, but that the narrative, if they go 4-6, 5-5, if they slide back this year, it's going to be, well, yeah, you had this quarterback, you had 14 NFL draft picks, the most in NFL history from one school. You had the best season in the history of college quarterbacking from Joe Burrow. You had a first-round running back. You had Joe Brady. You had Dave Aranda running the defense. They're going to say LSU won that thing in spite of Ed Orgeron. And, it's up to him to prove that is wrong. Looks like it was Austin Deculis. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but a senior there on the offensive line. Again, LSU already has an offensive lineman out or questionable this week. So they're throwing out a lot of guys that, probably don't have a ton of experience themselves. Missouri's showing, and again, you guys are ahead of me, and I'm going to catch up. Missouri's showing a 6-man front. Adam Sparks out there. They're moving all over the place on defense. I don't know if Missouri has no idea what it's doing before this play, or if they just want LSU to think they have no idea what they're doing. LSU brought 6, caught him in a screen. And nice job by Adam Sparks out there. I think Gilbert slipped a little bit. He was on his way down, but nice job by Adam Sparks to keep him short of the marker. We're going to have 4th down. I'm going to catch up with the comments as soon as I see 4th down, because I want to see the 4th down. I want to see what they do before I catch up. This is a situation where you probably go for it, right? From the 38-yard line, and LSU is. You guys, again, have probably seen this play. I'm going to watch it live, and then I'll catch up. We got a bunch of comments coming in, so it's either really good or really bad. It's like when your phone's blowing up when you're trying not to watch a game. If you get a bunch of comments, it's either great or terrible. And not great, certainly. LSU going to use Eric Gilbert a whole lot. Yeah, Justin, yeah, he is a beast, no question about that. So I'm just going to roll through some of these comments, catch up. I want to get as many of you guys on here as possible. Appreciate you all watching along, and know that I am looking at these and agree. Scott, Missouri's been good on both sides of the ball with what they're calling so far. Michael wants to know how big an impact it was moving the game to Columbia. I don't think it's huge, because how about that? Ennis Rakestraw coming up, making the tackle behind the line of scrimmage in the run game. I don't think it's that big, because the atmosphere, the fans, all that, it's just not really a thing that's going to impact the game. Now, it is different because you got to change up your routine. LSU practiced, I think, at the Holiday Inn Executive Center last night, had their walkthrough. So there are some changes, no question. But, I don't think it should affect the game all that much, to be honest with you. I love the drinking comments. Yeah, you guys, please let me know what you're drinking. How, I know Justin's already in on the Jaeger bombs. First week we had somebody who had like a full case of Bud Light, all that. So I'm always interested in that stuff. LSU's passing game, Missouri's got good coverage, but you just can't cover for 20 minutes. So they're gonna have to get back there a little bit sooner. There you go. Justin Ferguson already deep into it today. So, Yeah, Eric wanting to know how you guys watching this. I'm watching on my laptop through my Hulu account, but I think most people are watching online. But some cable providers do carry it. So Justin says DirecTV has it. Um, all right, so I've got LSU first and goal at the 7. Again, I'm probably a player or two behind you. Is he going to get in? I think he got a foot in there. Oh, they called him out of bounds. I think they're going to review that. I thought this guy was in. Um, Justin Ferguson agreed with me. Let's see. I don't know. That right foot might have been down first. I'm not sure if you can reverse it. So foot's down. Does he have possession? I don't know if he has possession. Honestly, what do you guys think, man? Well, here's the important stuff. Pumpkin beer. More power to you, man. That's not a thing I can do, but more power to you, Phil. But what do you guys think? Touchdown, no touchdown? You may already know. I think it was a touchdown, but I don't know if you can reverse it. Given what we saw. Let's see. So, foot's down. Possession. I think that foot might be in the air before he's got full possession. I don't know. And all right, so we got one that thinks bobble, one that thinks possession, one that thinks can't reverse the call. That's where we're at. I don't know, guys. I don't think I'd reverse the call. I think it was a touchdown, but I don't think I'd reverse the call because I'm not sure he had the ball before that left foot came off the ground. We're going to see. And like all the comments here are split. So that kind of shows you whatever they do, I don't think you can really argue too much because we're seeing both sides of it here just in the chat. So we're just going to kind of hang out here and see what happens. That was Terrace Marshall, and they did give it to him. So Terrace Marshall with the 7-yard catch to tie up the game. Missouri put up some resistance there. So I'm not too disappointed in that drive for the Missouri defense. I mean, obviously you want to keep them out of the end zone, but Missouri did some things right on that drive, I think. Now the discouraging part is that LSU's offense moved down the field much more traditionally than Missouri's did, so it seems more sustainable to me. All right. Yeah, appreciate the updates on the other games. I am kind of checking during timeouts, but so this is a good point. 3rd and 4th down, huge issue. Basically, when you add 3rd and 4th down together over the first 2 games, I think Alabama and Tennessee were 19 of 27, 4-4 on 4th down. So what that means is Missouri had, 8 chances or 27 chances between 3rd down plays and 4th down plays to get off the field. They only actually succeeded in doing it, I think, 4 times. Huge issue, no question. Number 31 on offense is, Boo Boo Smith. Yeah, he's a walk-on. I forget where he was. He was out in Kansas last year. But, yes, he is a walk-on for right now. He's really fast. I know that. I forget exactly where he came from. And, yeah, Eric, you're right. Definitely bad coverage. No question. No question there. A lot of talk about the track, and I agree. Look, yeah, you can't have somebody. I remember watching a game a few years ago. It was down at Southern Miss where they had a cart about 6 yards behind the end zone, and a kid just went in and it just absolutely snapped his leg on it. I mean, there's no need for things like that. Florida up 7-0 halfway through the first. Vandy and South Carolina still scoreless. Those are the only two other early games going on, and would think Florida and South Carolina fairly heavy favorites, but hey, nobody probably had Missouri hanging in 7-7 here with LSU. So, we'll see. Florida. Michael, totally agree. Florida looks good so far. And again, you guys, you've kind of caught on to this whole thing, have the conversations over to the side with each other. That's great. It's kind of like a live game thread. I am going to throw some of them up on the screen, and we'll get through it. I do tend to run a little bit behind, and sometimes I get to talking and kind of forget about it, but we're going to get there. Tucker brings up a good point. Definitely, this is like a Rucker-Kaufman combo at tight end for LSU, and honestly, maybe even better than that. I mean, these guys are really, really good dynamic players at tight end, and that's going to make that LSU passing game an absolute handful, even despite everything they lost from last year. That's the best kickoff return I've seen out of Missouri in 5 years. I mean, I can't remember last time Missouri had a kickoff brought out beyond the 30-yard line. Correct me if you agree or disagree. Sorry. Totally agree there, T-Rise. Yeah. I mean, LSU's better. No question. But, defensive line and receiver were the two places they're missing people, and defensive line and receiver did okay there. So, Michael, this is the interesting part today. I'm not sure on Sean Robinson. I mean, look, they scored on the first possession. If Bazelak moves the ball here, then I don't see any reason to switch. It'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. I'd go with Bazelak as long as the offense is moving, though. Why don't they use Boo Boo Smith on special teams? I know they looked at him. He did some of it in preseason camp, if I remember what Drinkwitz said correctly. But obviously they just like the other guys better, and blown block out on the edge on Nico Hay there. I mean, this guy just blew right through him and put Missouri in 3rd and 8. And I don't love that. I don't love the stretch play on 2nd and 5. Put a foot in the ground, get upfield. Worst case scenario, you're going to be in 3rd and 4. But now you're in 3rd and 8, I don't know. And they're going to be in 4th and something because Tucker wants them to go for it. So we'll watch here, and we'll get caught up. Interesting there. I mean, Dove gave up about 2 yards coming back to the ball there. I understand you want to go for it. If they go for it, I won't be upset. I think I'd kick on 4th and 3, but I understand, the idea of going for it and just, hey, nothing to lose, an aggressive mentality, and it looks like that's what Drinkwitz is doing, so more power to him. Hey, it makes it fun to watch. I always want coaches to do more of this. Is that an LSU timeout? Yeah, Drinkwitz kind of had this riverboat gambler, reputation. Sorry, I couldn't look for the word or couldn't find the word, but he always had the reputation of a guy that was he was going to go for it and push the envelope. So, good for him. And yeah, we agree on that. Keep running sideways instead up the field. I mean, Drinkwitz talked a lot about this power run game, but we've seen a lot of East-West in the first 3 games, and yeah. Stryker brings up a good point, too. I mean, Missouri could have been in 4th and a half a yard, but Dove was coming so far back that he gave up 2.5 yards there. Justin, I kind of tend to agree with you. I would punt it, but you're a huge underdog. You moved the ball decently, and LSU went down the field relatively easily against you. I mean, you had them in 2nd and 3rd and long, so the point is, are they much less likely to score if they get it at their 15 than if they get it at midfield? I mean, yeah, they're probably less likely, but how much less likely? I don't really know. So I don't hate going for it if that's what Missouri does. But I would side with Justin. I would punt it here. And I usually don't side there. I just think it's too far because On 4th and 3, I think you're in a situation where you pretty much have to throw the ball. I don't think they have to respect the run all that much on 4th and 3, and so I think that puts you in kind of a bad spot. Just check the other scores. Nothing's changed there. South Carolina and Vandy still scoreless. Hey, South Carolina's got to win that game. I mean, Texas A&M actually scored on Florida, tied that game up. 4 minutes left in the first. So. All right, so it looks like Missouri's going to go ahead and change its mind after the timeout. And there's an advantage in going the way Missouri did. They forced LSU to burn a timeout, right? So, hey, if LSU finds itself in a position of getting the ball back in the last 2 minutes and they're down a timeout, that's not bad. You forced Ed Orgeron to burn a timeout and make a decision. That was an LSU timeout. So that's not bad. 4th and 3 though, I agreed, but I don't exactly agree with this. If you're going to go for it on 4th and 3, keep the offense on the field. This is not a situation where a fake is going to surprise anybody. I don't know why you're asking your punter to throw that pass. You have a quarterback. I don't like that at all. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I get it. You're trying to. I'm not going to kill him for it, but Connor Bazelak completes that pass because there was a second where Jalen Knox was open, but a fake does not surprise anybody there. They know. If 4th and 3 at midfield, they know a fake is possible. That's not going to catch anybody off guard. I've never understood if you're going to throw a pass, why you have the punter do it versus having the quarterback do it, unless you're in a situation where you are catching people off guard, and that's just not a situation where you're going to catch anybody off guard with that call, to be honest. Man, this LSU passing game's going to crush Missouri. Even when they're getting pressure on, he's getting out of the pocket and finding somebody open. Isaiah McGuire came up the middle, but then Bledsoe got beat, and a really nice throw by Miles Brennan. He was a 5-star kid for a reason, but it's like when they're covering, they can't get pressure, and when they get pressure, they can't cover. So, that's a tough deal there. Yep, exactly. There was it looked like that was Bledsoe's guy, but Martez Manuel was kind of in the picture, but nobody was actually covering him. They let him roll. Yep, Brennan 7 for 7 for 114. That's kind of tough to go after. LSU just used another timeout. LSU's used 2 timeouts in the first 9:41. So, hey, that's something. Yeah, so I'm going to look up Miles Brennan here. I know that he was certainly well thought of coming out of high school. Let's see. Class of 2017, Miles Brennan was a 5.8 4-star, number 12 quarterback in the country with 18 offers, LSU, Cal, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, Vandy, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Tennessee, not Tennessee. So Like, he had good offers, but LSU was the only, kind of blue blood. So you got to give them some credit finding him out of Mississippi. You got to give them some credit finding him when maybe some other programs weren't quite as high on him. T-Rise has Missouri ahead in the timeouts, no question. And LSU -7 rushing yards, and we thought with the defensive tackles that would be an issue, but really hasn't been. It's just been the passing game. I mean, Missouri can't cover these guys, honestly. Is that's what's happened so far. All right, so now you got him. Well, we got a flag here, so I'm not sure. Looks like it would be a hold where it was thrown, but again, you guys are probably ahead of me. We'll find out what it is. It's either going to be a hold or hands to the face. I don't know how you get defensive holding in that situation, but Missouri did it, and those are the things you just can't do. If you're going to win a game as a 2-touchdown underdog, you can't do that. I mean, you give LSU an automatic first down when it was going to be 2nd and 15. You're killing yourself. That's basically 7 free points right there, or 4 free points at least. I'm not even sure who number 6 is, guys. I've got to look at my Missouri roster. That's where we're at in this season is, playing guys that I can't identify. Well, I must have misread the number because it's not Kiki Chisholm or Darius Robinson because neither one of them's playing. That might have been Jarvis Ware. Well, that's the best coverage Missouri's had all day. And obviously, if you guys kind of got caught up in there, that's on the I guess it was first and 4. Okay, I thought defensive holding was an automatic first down. Apparently, it's not in college football, so it's now 2nd and 4. Yeah, I agree with this striker. Defensive line has not been. Maybe Missouri's going to find some guys on the defensive line here. I don't know, but they have been better than the coverage has been. The coverage hasn't been there. And look, LSU's got great players there, but the SEC has great players. Yeah. Isaiah McGuire hurt on that play. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't really see anything, but looked like a wrist, maybe. He's up, so that's good. Definitely like a wrist or a hand. You gotta hope he can come back because Missouri's just running out of bodies, man. Doesn't look serious. Maybe a stinger. Anyway, they ran for first down there, so, first and goal at the 2. Run defense has been good. I mean, the defensive line, I can't argue with anything that the defensive line has done so far. So LSU can't run the ball at all, but Missouri can't stop them throwing it. You know. And it is. I mean, they're getting pressure, and it just doesn't matter. Missouri's defensive players, they can't stay with these guys. They can't stay with Gilbert. They can't stay with Marshall. I mean, they can't cover. LSU's going to have guys open all day long because Missouri just flat out cannot cover these receivers. There's sometimes there are things you need to kind of search for, and sometimes it's just really obvious what's going on. And this time it's really obvious. Missouri just can't match up on the outside. That extra point was barely good, but it was good. Yeah, Stryker, totally agree, man. Just outmatched, and I haven't looked if it's man or zone or I don't know. Haven't obviously kind of got to have the top angle and all that, but whatever it isn't working because Missouri they can't stick with these guys. Pretty much everybody. Well, this was obviously man. Everybody up on the line, and let's see what happens here. See who got beat. So they blitzed off the corner, and I think that was Bledsoe, but the camera angle is a little too far away. I'm not sure, but I think it was Bledsoe. And, yeah, Gary, the secondary's been pretty good the first 2 weeks. But, again, Jarvis Ware coming off injury. And LSU has guys, man. I mean, but so does everybody in the SEC. I mean, this is a better receiving core than Tennessee had last week. I don't know if it's as good as Alabama, but I'm not sure it's far off because those tight ends are freak shows, and that really kind of changes a lot of things, you know. So last year, Missouri had a really good pass defense statistically. They gave up 415 yards to Tennessee. I thought the numbers looked better than the defense was. But, yeah, they did pretty well defensively. But, they also lost the 2 starting cornerbacks off that team. So that's certainly part of it. They're playing a freshman and a redshirt freshman quite a bit right now. So that's a part of it. That's what Missouri's got to do. They got to run the ball. I mean, 7 yards on first down with Larry Roundtree. That's what you got to do. No question, you know. Because Missouri's not going to survive in 3rd and 10 all day. LSU seems to be surviving fine in 3rd and 10 most of the day. End around, pitch back to the quarterback, another trick play, wide open, and Bazelak just overthrew Daniel Parker. I mean, he just overthrew it. That was there. He led him by a half yard too much. Maybe not the guy you necessarily want to be throwing that to. I don't know. But, yeah, like Justin, we have a lot of the same thoughts here, guys. See, we think a lot of the same things as we go along. I like what I've seen out of Bazelak. It's Smith there. You know, Bazelak he overthrew the one to Parker, but he's looked pretty good. I mean, he's your guy. I think it's pretty clear. He's the quarterback. He's moving the ball. Every possession has gotten out beyond the 45-yard line. They've had first downs on 2 out of the 3. I don't see any reason to change. I don't see any reason to bring Robinson into this game. And if you can do that, if you can just hit a 6-yard pass pretty consistently, I think you're good. I have a little Burger Smokehouse meat stick while we watch her. boy, Missouri got the first down on the option to Knox anyway, but, I mean, Larry Roundtree was running untouched up the middle on that play too. Missouri's moving the ball on offense. You can't argue with that. Bazelak just sitting there taking what they're giving him. I mean, drops it off to the short guy, outlet. Really impressive. Like the way this game's been called. Like Missouri's execution. The only issue so far is they just don't have as many good players, especially trying to match up with the receivers. There you go. 2nd and 2, hand it off, move the chains. You can argue with the decision to fake the punt, but other than that, can't argue with much. So Dennis wants to know what this says about Walters. I mean, guys, I think the issue just is they just don't have the guys to stick with the receiving core like this. I don't think you can coach that. I really don't. I don't know what you do. Man, Tyler Beatty's got. Now, he's one of the guys on this team that's got legit SEC speed. I mean, he showed it against Bama, and he just showed it there. Slipped one tackle, and he took off. I don't think anybody could have expected Missouri to do this in the first quarter. I mean, this is 9 plays, 75 yards, 3.5 minutes. PAT's good, ties the game. This is the kind of thing that gives you confidence, not just for this week, but, going forward. Now, again, you have to sustain it for a while today. This game is so far from over. But this is the type of thing that can get you. This is what Arkansas had last week. This is what Ole Miss had last week. This is what Mississippi State had 2 weeks ago. This is what Missouri fans need. The sliver, the game that makes you see, hey, I see it. It's there. It might not be there all the time. It might be a ways away, but we've got a chance, and this quarter should give you a lot of hope, I think. Right, Bama, Tennessee, LSU. I mean, so far it's got to be in that order, right? Bama, I think, is head and shoulders above everybody else in the league. But right now, you got to say Tennessee's better than LSU. I mean, Missouri has moved the ball very consistently against LSU. And they haven't done that against anybody else. They didn't have a first-half touchdown in the first 2 games. And they've got 2 in the first quarter here. So that doesn't say great things for LSU's defense. All right, so a big drive here for the Missouri defense. You'd like to show you can get a stop at some point. That is a shot from Ish Burdine. I mean, that was perfectly timed. Now, in this day and age of football, that is a situation where I've seen people throw flags for like hitting a defenseless receiver. It would have been a terrible call because the guy was reaching back trying to get the ball, but that's a really nice play from Ish Burdine. I agree, Phil. I picked Missouri to score 10 points in this game, so they've already surpassed what I thought. That was a well-executed screen. Like, it looked like maybe Missouri could make a play, but he just had like 4 blockers right around him. But, hey, you're at the end of the first quarter, and you're in a tie game. I mean, nobody is going to complain about that at all. I'm getting into the stat program right now, so I can update you guys with some live stats. But they definitely look a lot better than I think we expected them to. So give me just a minute here. Missouri actually winning total yardage wise. And obviously Missouri has had one more drive, so that's part of the reason for that. LSU does not have a rushing yard. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? It's a team that until a couple years ago supposedly couldn't throw the ball at all, and all they did was run, and now they don't really appear to be able to run the ball very well. So updating that. Let's see. First downs. First downs are even. I mean, this has been a very even game, and neither defense has seemed to really have any sort of an answer for the other one so far. But look, that's by far the best quarter we've seen out of Missouri because it matters. The game's still up for grabs. I mean, the other times we've seen Missouri winning quarters or doing things that left people feeling good. I mean, the truth is, game was already over. It was the third or fourth quarter in like a 3-score game, and I didn't put any stock in that. But I think you definitely put a little bit of stock in what we're seeing here. This has been pretty impressive way to start, certainly for Missouri so far. I don't know. I don't know what else you could want out of the start. To be quite honest with you, I mean that was. Well, I guess you could want to stop and have the lead, but other than that, I don't really know what you would want. All right, so there's the stats. We're going to start throwing up some of your comments here while we're in commercial. And pretty much agree with everything you guys are saying here, I mean, I think Bazelak is, if it wasn't decided before, it's decided now. He's your starter. He plays every down. Or at least every down he's obviously healthy for. Michael talking about Tom Herman. I don't think Tom Herman's in trouble today, but people will be mad at him, but I don't think he's in trouble. I don't know if this means the defense is not good. I mean, they're missing a lot of guys, and LSU has got a lot of guys. So, But you would definitely like to see them put up a little bit more of a little bit more. And they're obviously about to get one. So we are back to game action here. That's a really nice play by Rakestraw. I mean, that pass was completed. He had that ball, and Rakestraw came in and knocked it loose, but I'd go for it here. And obviously, so would Ed Orgeron. Or they're going to fake it and it's going to work. One of the two. Okay, neither of the two. Apparently, Missouri's about to drop. Oh. I mean, I don't even know if I blame the punt return guy there. Right? How would you be expected to hold on to that ball? I think first of all, your blocker has to get out of your way. I want to see a replay here. And my broadcast is now frozen, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll catch back up. Not sure what's happening. Well, I got a replay, but it skipped the part where, okay, so this is Chris Abrams' drain. Well, I mean, that's on number 17. That's on Jalen Carlise. He just shoved the tackler right into his return man. That's on the blocker. I mean, that's on the blocker. That's in no way on the return man. It's Jalen Carlise just shoved his guy straight into Chris Abrams' drain. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's bad. All right, well, either way, LSU getting a chance. Again, that's the second time, at least the second time, and really third if you include that defensive holding call, that Missouri just gave LSU a chance that LSU didn't really do anything to earn, right? And Missouri's just giving away points. They could be in the lead in this game, but they're just giving away points. I don't even know what the distance on that was. I'm going to call it 25 yards. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that's 7 points on the blocker. It just is. And yeah, you'd love Chris Abrams' strain to hang on to the ball, but I mean, he got a guy shoved into him at full speed right when he was about to catch the ball. I don't know how you blame that guy. So 21-14, you're happy with that, but also you look at it and think, I don't know, it seems like it should be better than that. It doesn't feel like Missouri should be down 7 points in this game. Now, also, Miles Brennan, 10 of 13 for 149 and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Like, Connor Bazelak is 7 for 8 for 103 and a touchdown, and he's, without question, the worst quarterback in this game. You don't see that happen much, right? Missouri's averaging 9.2 yards a play. LSU's averaging 7.8, both averaging almost 15 per completion. LSU has 0 yards rushing, but Missouri with a turnover and a penalty. And a failed fake punt, so those are the differences there. A&M and Florida in a shootout too. They're 14-14 in the second. South Carolina and Vandy in a snoozer, 3-0 Gamecocks in the second. So, 2 games, a lot of fireworks in the SEC, and then South Carolina and Vandy are not a lot of people flipping the channel for that one. So yeah, just catching up with your guys' comments and yeah, you know, got to agree with you. Got to agree with you. And you're right, Skyler or Striker. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's first year coach and all that, and this is a team that had some discipline and issues last year, so it's not shocking. But you would like when you actually are playing well enough to be in the game or to be ahead against a team like LSU, you'd like to manage to do it. You don't want to give it. If LSU just comes out and beats you because they just got better guys, that's great. But it's a little bit discouraging to be playing this well and still be behind because you've basically given them 11 points. You gave them 4 points on the defensive holding call, and then you gave them that was in second 15 or whatever, and then you gave them 7 by fumbling a punt on your 25-yard line. It could very easily be 14-10 Missouri, and it isn't, and that's got to be a little bit discouraging, I think. We're on pace for something like, I don't know, 77-63 or something like that, I think. It'd be fun, at least. I would enjoy that. It would take all day, but it would be kind of fun. Robert, yeah, I don't know. Maybe in a strike straw, starting right away helps, but I think most kids think they're going to come in and play right away. And I think your sales pitch is, look, we aren't very good. We lost a lot of games. So, yeah, we need guys who can come in and start right away. So, I don't know if one individual guy helps a lot. I mean, I guess it helps to prove that they'll play true freshmen, but I'm not sure how big a difference it makes. Larry Rountree's off to a really solid start this year, and that's a credit to this offensive line that's been better than I thought. Roundtree so far, 5 carries for 25. Missouri 9 for 61 overall. Don't have a negative play in the run game, I think. Oh no, they have the one on the sweep that didn't work. But still, 2nd and 3 all day long. Like, that's a play caller's dream. You can do anything you want. Bazelak barely got rid of that ball. It didn't go anywhere good, but, boy, he was about to get hammered. I strongly disagree with that statement, Sir Mufflebuns. There's a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits that are really good, but, And who are, I mean, look at Trevor Lawrence. That kid, I wouldn't be playing this year if I was him, but he is. See, Missouri's been really good about we'll just go 6 yards downfield and move the chains. You can do that all day long, no question. And Gary, I agree with you. No, I don't think they can beat LSU in a game that's going to require 56 points. At some point, the defense is going to need to stop. You're going to have to get a break. You're going to have to force a turnover or two. You're going to have to take some time off the clock, no question. And then you kind of followed it up with that. Yeah, no, they can't just come out here and match LSU score for score. They don't have the talent for that. But hey, if you can keep getting 6-7 yards every first down, Eli Drinkwitz can do absolutely anything he wants. Striker, Hazelton was the leading receiver through 2 games with 9 catches for 100 yards, actually tied with Jalen Knox. Chisholm hadn't done much in the first 2 games. But again, you're seeing guys get a chance, and some of these guys are taking advantage of it. And so some of these guys, to me, in 2 weeks, if they do this week and then they beat Vandy next week, and I'm not saying win this game, but just compete and look good. If that happens, I think you really got to. Sorry, I almost unplugged something. I think you really got to think about when some of those guys come back, and not just Chisholm and Hazleton, but a lot of these guys who aren't in right now. Hey, do these guys get their spots back? Because I think you're seeing some guys do some things that indicate maybe, hey, I deserve a little bit more of a look here. That play was ugly, and yeah, Missouri's. Yeah, okay. I know what's coming on the next play already. So again, I think some of these things are going to happen, right, with a young, inexperienced team. Now, obviously, you don't want them to happen, and you're unhappy with it, but I still think overall so far this has been a positive where you're seeing some things that tell you, hey, there are things to like here. Now, obviously, they've shot themselves in the foot too much. It's not going perfectly, and that's just that can't happen to Bazelak. I mean, that's not inexperience. That's just a bad play. I mean, that's being careless with the ball and holding it down at your hip, and you just. That's not even blindside. He's looking straight at that guy coming at him. And, it just, I don't know. It's on Bobby Lawrence for getting beat, but it's also, that's on the quarterback, man. You can't do that. That's just a bad play by the quarterback. So somehow now Missouri got to at least find a way to hold LSU to 3. I mean, of course you'd like a turnover and something to flip the tide back, but you've at least got to hold them to 3 here somehow. Oof. That was open. I mean, that's nothing other than a miss from Miles Brennan because he was open. Now, Jelani Williams with a big hit, and Eric Gilbert was going to pay the price if he did get to it. But he was open. That was, he beat the corner and the safety wasn't there in time. And Gilbert looked like he knew right away something was wrong. Like right away he knew something was wrong. And you don't want to see that. I mean, all right, that's what we like to hear, Jacob. Mute the announcers. Come listen to me. That's how it goes. All right, now so 3rd and 10, and you've got it. Like this has to be a stop. I mean, you can't give up this first down on 3rd and 10. I think Gary's going back to the last possession. Sacks on the offensive line, turnovers on the quarterback. 100% accurate there. So this is the first situation for the Missouri defense where it's like, all right, this has to happen. You don't do this, it can get away from you, right? And again, I know you guys are likely a little bit ahead of me. You've probably already seen 3rd down, so I'm ignoring comments and watching 3rd down live, so you get a little bit more of a genuine reaction of what I'm thinking when I see it. I mean, if I'm Orgeron, I'm going on 4th and 3 from the. I'd go for it on 4th and 3. I don't think there's any reason not to, because Missouri hasn't proven the ability to stop you. I'm a little bit surprised that they're kicking here, honestly. I mean, I don't know anything about LSU's kicker. He might be really good, but this is a 41-yard field goal. If I'm them on 4th and 3, I'm going for it. I would have thrown the football. Missouri hadn't covered you all day. Even the 2 incompletions, All right, so yeah, the field goal's good. I have no idea who LSU's kicker is, number 36. I'm going to have to look him up real quick. 36 is an odd kicker number. Cade York with the field goal there. So I mean, good job by the defense to get the hold there. That's as well as you can do in that situation. Um, but now Missouri's offense has to answer with points because it's 24-10 or 24-14, I'm sorry. And I think you can easily argue 14 of those points have just been gifts from Missouri, like Eric said. I mean, you got 4 points on a defensive hold on second and long that results in a touchdown. So that goes from 3 to 7. You got the turnover on the offense that gives it to him at the 25. That's 7 more, so that's 11. And then you get the turnover at the 31 or whatever that just gave him 3. Yeah, I'm with Gary. I would have gone. I think this game should be about 14-10 Missouri, but it isn't. And so now you've got to find a way to respond on offense. Yeah, the defense. Yeah, defense has given up 14 points. Offense has given up 10. I mean, that's offense has given up 3. Special teams has given up 7. Missouri special teams not helping thus far today. So, and Jacob, yeah, agreed that both lines have been better today, no question, and which makes you wonder. I mean, hey, you're getting better with a defensive end replacing Kobe Whiteside, a defensive tackle. Isaiah McGuire's a guy that's starting to look like he can make some plays. And I don't know if he was in on that drive. He got hurt earlier on the goal line. Looked like he was going to come back. I'm not sure if he's come back in, but he's starting to look like a guy who can make some plays. So you'd like to see that in the offensive line again. Not necessarily a strength, but definitely not as big a weakness as we thought. And you'll take that. That's a positive, I think. So I think there's some, and the wide receivers have been better today than they were with Chisholm and Hazelton and Dom Jacinto out there. I mean, the wide receivers have caught what they can catch. They've made plays, when you've asked them to. No, I don't think Mizzou let off the gas pedal. I think they had a bad special teams play that was on a guy blocking the gunner into the return man, and then they had a bad play by Connor Bazelak being careless with the football. I think that's really all there is to it. And our friend here says that Zeke Powell's replacing Bobby Lawrence at left tackle, so that's interesting. Jeez, Florida and A&M are just going to score every time they touch the ball, it appears. Which I guess you could kind of say the same about Missouri, honestly. Missouri and LSU, that is, not just Missouri. But anyway, yeah, I think Missouri not only needs points here, I think they need to hold the ball for a little bit, take some time off the clock. They got to give this defense a little bit of a rest. That defense been out there a lot in the last few minutes, and every first down has been 7-8 yards. And again, when you are an offensive coach, if you can get in 2nd and 3, just your whole world is open for you. And I want to look at the running stats here real quick. I'll give these to you guys live. Missouri's run 14 times for 66 yards. LSU has run 7 times for 1 yard. Missouri is now averaging 6.9 per play. LSU 6.6 per play now. LSU's averaging 6.8. I mean, because that was going to be a completion, but then isn't a completion. I guess the ball must have bounced. But I mean, Missouri is hanging with LSU offensively. The difference in this game is the mistakes. I mean, that's really it. That's the difference. I haven't seen Bolton's name a lot, but that's okay. I mean, they're throwing a lot to the receivers and downfield, so that's part of it. But also the defensive line has been in the backfield. Definitely not built for shootouts, no question about it. I actually agree with this. I know the offense is tempo, and I know that's what they want to do, but no, I agree with you. I would probably tend to lean a little bit more on grind the clock and give you some rest. But I mean, Sir Mufflebuns is right here. It's so the defense isn't set. It's catching the defense off guard, and I get that. But also at some point, I think you just got to help your defense out a little bit and make sure you stay on the field for a while. But obviously, this is going to be a conversion for Missouri, so that's a positive. Jalen Knox, another guy that showed he's got the speed to play with teams like this in that Alabama game. He had a couple runs up the sideline, and he's a guy that he can play in a game like this. And the key for Drinkwitz is he's obviously just got to get more guys who can do that. And until he does, he's going to kind of have to out scheme and trick some people. But you're in field goal range. I mean, Mevis made a 50-yarder last year, so goal number one on this is hang on to the football. Don't give it up. Now, obviously goal number two is get 7 points, not 3. But goal number one is hang on to the football. Yeah, Jalen Knox, and I alluded to this some in the first week against Alabama. Guys, it was a confidence problem. I mean, and it was in talking to people around the program the last couple years, you have to treat different guys differently. And the offensive coordinator was pretty hard on Jalen Knox at times, and I think it really hurt his confidence. And I think, that's something that you just got to treat. Some guys need a little more coddling, a little more kid gloves, bring them along with positivity, things like that. And I think it was just a situation where his confidence got destroyed, and it's just now starting to come back. So. All right, so that's straight out of Andy Reid, Travis Kelce right there. Straight out of it. I mean, yeah. Cal, you had the same thought. I mean, the Chiefs use that play all the time. They usually use it on the goal line, but they use it all the time. And to the point where other teams are now actually getting really used to it. That's where that play came from. 48 is Nico Hay. Yeah, so there you go. It's Mahomes and Kelce. Yeah, see? There you go. Totally agree. I mean, I if there's a grade above A, I would give it for the coaching and the play calling in this game. And again, Jalen Knox fast enough to get the edge. I tell you what, guys, this offense, you guys should be excited. This is, I didn't think we were going to see this today. And look, I'm not saying that Missouri is necessarily going to win this game, but I did not think we were going to see this today. The play calls, the execution with a shorthanded team, and yeah, maybe LSU's defense is terrible, but this is about more than that. This is about Missouri executing better than it has the first 2 weeks. This is, if not for mistakes, Missouri has a 2-score lead in this game. I mean, and now you can't take those away, right? I mean, that's part of it. You can't just say, yeah, those don't count. But Missouri is playing with LSU. They are going blow for blow with LSU. There's no question about it. And no, this LSU team isn't what it was last year, but this is still a good team. This is, like Missouri's got 4 or 5 games left against teams worse than this. So if you can play with this team, you can play with Kentucky, you play with South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. I mean, if you can play with this team, there are 5 more games on this schedule that you can win if you play like this, and especially if you get a little more defense. Jacob, I appreciate it. They are completely unreasonable comparisons, but that's okay, man. That's okay. That's it's good to have a little bit of optimism and fun, because we haven't had much of it the first 2 weeks. I mean, every other team in this league had reasons to feel good, and you guys really hadn't had much reason to feel good the first 2 weeks. You're getting a reason to feel good right now, and so you should enjoy that, no question. And yeah, I agree. Drinkwitz he's called a great game. I mean, it's been very impressive. The way he has coached the game and called the game. Yeah, Bill, at least on that last drive, it looked like the tight end Eric Gilbert took a hit, and I'm not sure he's going to be in on this drive. Hey, while we got a break, want to remind you guys, give the show a like, subscribe to the channel, tweet about it, tell your friends about it, whatever. Just kind of share what we're doing here every week. This is the most people we've had watching along for a game, so that's cool. I appreciate it. There have been a lot of comments. I think most feedback we've gotten the first couple weeks is that people kind of enjoy it. It's kind of a different way to do things. Some people turn down the volume and listen to me and sometimes Mitch. Some people, just kind of have us on and want to comment and talk with the other commenters. That's cool. Either way is great. But we appreciate the participation. It really helps us out. If you give it a like, if you kind of share it, it does help the channel. We get a little bit more visibility. We can do a little bit more, make a little money off of it and reinvest in the product. So appreciate you guys doing that. And appreciate Call and Gentry Law Group. Once again, you can go callgentry.com. You can call them at 573-644-6090. They have a live chat on their website. If you guys have any legal problems, I mean, Justin's sitting there hammering Jaeger bombs, First of all, Justin, don't get in your car. But, like, if that Jaeger leads to something bad later and you need a lawyer, hit up Call and Gentry. They're going to help you out. I'm not going to promise they're going to get you out of whatever you do, because maybe you did it. Maybe you're going to deserve it. But, they're going to do their best by you. So give them a call. So that is the third touchdown drive. Missouri only had 2 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. Both of them were in the second half. Both of them were when the game was out of reach. So this is impressive, what Missouri's doing so far. Now this is – so you got 7.5 minutes left. Theoretically, each team should have a drive. If you can get a stop on LSU and you can get the ball back, the goal would be to score and then to hold the ball till halftime, because LSU gets the ball to start the second half. So what you want to do is put them in a position where they're not getting the ball to end the second quarter and start the third. I know we're thinking too far ahead, but goal number 1 has to be to get a stop, obviously, which Missouri hasn't done yet. LSU scored every time it's had the ball, I believe. But, the thinking kind of long term, you don't want to give them back-to-back possessions. Oh, that looked like, who was that? Was that Tyree Gillespie? Looked like he could have had a pick on that. That was thrown behind the receiver, and I thought the safety could have picked that off. Yeah, Jacob, I think there's a few things. First of all, the play calling's been better, right? It just has been. Also, they have a quarterback. They know who the guy is. Third of all, I think there's something to when your back's against the wall and you're missing starters and everybody like me is out here going, well, they're probably not even going to score. Guys tend to kind of respond to that. And I think that's happened today. I mean, Jalen Knox has he played well. Barrett Bannister's giving him a little something. And hey, now Missouri's got him in 3rd and 10, and I'm not going to catch up on the comments, but I think Cal points out, I think the biggest difference is the play calling. Eli Drinkwitz, man, I mean, a flea flicker on the first drive, had another flea flicker in there somewhere, a shovel pass to the tight end, a speed option, a triple option. I mean, we've seen some things, a jet sweep to Jalen Knox. We've seen some things, man. I mean, he went for it on 4th and 3 from his own 47. Dude's emptying the cupboard today. Like, I think he went into this thinking, we can win this game. We're not saving anything. Oh, that's a huge missed tackle. It still stopped him short. And I know you guys are ahead. It's 4th and 2. It should have been 4th and 12. Missouri had that behind the line of scrimmage. So I'm going to hold up and see what LSU does. I'm stunned they're not going. Like, I really think Eli Drinkwitz would go for this. Mike Leach would go for this. And I think more coaches need to do that. Why punt? They literally have not stopped you all day. Why are you punting on 4th and 2? It doesn't make any sense to me. They can't cover you. Just rolling through some of your comments. Bradley, good to see you here again. Phil, Gary, you guys, Justin, you guys have been here all along. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness. I just saw the fumbled punt. Missouri can't Missouri can't field a punt. Like, just don't get anywhere near it. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know who that was. Maybe LSU's best play really is to punt the ball and hope Missouri drops it, because it's worked out so far. And I still don't know who. Missouri somehow got that ball back, but I agree. I wouldn't put anybody back. And who was back for that? 29. That's Jamie Petway. There's no way he was returning that punt. It was Abrams Drain back there. Missouri's now fumbled 3 punts in 2 weeks. Yeah, that was Chris Abrams Drain. The first one wasn't on him. The first one was on the return, on the gunner getting shoved into the return guy. That one was just flat out a drop. I wouldn't put a guy back. I certainly wouldn't put that guy back again, but I wouldn't put a guy back. Now, look, you got to give Abrams Drain credit for getting on the ball, because a lot of guys in that situation just hang their head and LSU jumps on it. Nice job by Chris Abrams Drain of getting on the ball, but I mean, you got to catch the punt. And like, I want to point out here a confidence issue. That's the first one that Abrams Drain has dropped. The first drop punt against Alabama, that was Barrett Bannister. The first one today, literally, if you watch the replay, Jalen Carlise shoved the gunner into Abrams Drain right as he was about to catch the ball. And now, yeah, ideally, you'd like to catch the ball still, but that one wasn't really on the return man. This is the first one where it's been fully on the return man. So, yeah, Missouri got to get that figured out, man. I mean, you know, there is zero question about that. So let's I think the guy that got on the ball was the return man, Chris Abrams Drain. He's the one who came out with it, you know. So I think that was him. And look, I'm not trying to make light of this comment from Case, but you know, I've always said, like, coaches don't coach guys not to catch a punt. Like, at some point, the guy on the field has to make a play, right? And that's an easy play to make. Now, if a guy continues to do it and you keep putting him back there, then yes, that becomes on you. I blamed Barry Odom at a certain point for continuing to put Jonathan Johnson back there when he would try to catch the ones he shouldn't, and he wouldn't catch the ones he should. At some point, that's on you. But I mean, a guy has to catch the ball. You know, that's not coaching. That's just catch the damn thing. Yeah, we're not firing anybody yet, Matt. You know. So yeah, a lot of opinions on the punt return guy, and obviously justifiably so. But here's the situation: Missouri scored touchdowns on its last 2 drives. It has the ball down 24-21 with a chance to take the lead. And I think there's about 5 minutes left. Okay, 6:26. So are you going to be able to take up this whole drive? Probably not. I mean, you know, ideally, I think you'd like to get a first down or two and then maybe run the ball a little bit and run some clock so you don't leave LSU a ton of time. Oh yeah, that's a miss. I mean, you know, Jalen Knox was open there, and Bazelak just overthrew him, which is okay. Like, it happens sometimes, but he was open. So ideally, you get a first down here, and then I'd run the ball a little bit, run some clock, because you don't want to give the ball back to LSU if you can avoid it. Or if you do, you want to give it back to them with less than 2 minutes to go. And you remember, we talked about LSU used 2 timeouts in the first 10 minutes. Like, they've only got 1 left. So if you burn a little clock, then, hey, you know, maybe you can hang on to it. Now, ideally, you want to score. But, you know, if you could do it without some time, or with time going off the clock, you're happy about that. Larry Roundtree just gets it done, man. I mean, he just keeps getting it done despite losing the shoe. Let's look at his numbers real quick. Larry's got 8 carries for 46 yards, 5.8. He's averaging about 5.8 on the season. 5.4 per carry as a team. I mean, absolutely nothing to dislike there. And I think Stryker's right. I think Missouri's definitely starting to feel like, hey, we can do this. This isn't let's just hang around for a half and see what happens. I think Missouri's got legitimate reason to believe they can win this game. So yeah, now clock under 5 minutes. Now the goal is twofold: score and burn time. I think there is some difference in Larry. I think he's running a little tougher and harder than he did last year, but also I think the offensive line has been better than we expected. And this is I don't know how to put it other than an indictment on Brad Davis. If this line gets better after losing 3 offensive linemen to NFL teams, I mean that's on the coaching. Do we see Wilson throw a pass today? We might, man. We might see everything. Honestly, I mean, I think that's going to be the focus of kind of what I ask is you emptied the cupboard in the first half. I mean, how much was this the plan coming in? Hey, let's throw it all against the wall. Michael, I honestly never really interacted with Bo Pelini much. I mean, when I would cover road games, I didn't cover the home team press conference because I was always just focused on Missouri. So I never much interacted with Pelini, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, I think Larry's an NFL running back. I think he gets drafted next year. I think it's on the 3rd day. But yeah, I think he gets drafted. So now, wow, I didn't realize that last timeout was LSU. I thought that was Missouri. So LSU completely out of timeouts. Larry Roundtree just slipping out of tackles for first downs. Missouri in field goal range. I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm not sure how he got away from that tackle, but he did, Oh, this is now this isn't what you want to see when Derek Stingley's starting to get hurt. I mean, that kid, he's like a top 5 NFL pick. Obviously, even if it helps Missouri's chances, I don't think even Missouri fans want to see that happen. Yeah, I agree with Andy. He wasn't a great offensive line coach at Florida. Certainly wasn't a great offensive line coach here. So, go back to Stryker's question: should we see Knox more on special teams? Hang on. I understand the thinking, and I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I think you got to be careful how much you're using your starting wide receiver, putting him back there. I mean, every play he's out there is another play where, maybe you put him in a position where he could get hit or get hurt, a little more wear and tear on his body. He's doing so much for you offensively. I'm not sure you want to put him back there on special teams, to be quite honest. That was as nimble as I've seen Roundtree. Like, he showed some real nice feet there, and that's impressive for a guy whose game is a little bit. I feel like more power than speed and shiftiness. That was a nice little move. No, it's a fair point, Stryker. If if you think Jalen Knox can be a game changer, you put him back there, no question. No question, but I think you just got to be careful. And T. Rise brings up a good point too with the other 2 starters out. Although I'm not sure I've seen anything that tells me they should be the other 2 starters right now. Honestly, yeah, Cal's right. Yeah, you gotta get points out of this drive, no question. And again, if you can get 6 and you can make it take some extra time, even better. That was actually an excellent play call that didn't work because somebody blew a block. That Jabril Cox, he's from Raytown South, transferred from North Dakota. Let's see who. So this was set up, and Mayetti didn't get out there to get to Cox. It was set up right. I really liked the play call. It just didn't work. Yeah, it was there. It was 100% there. Just blew a block. Oh, my. Was that Dove? I mean, Missouri is just absolutely murdering itself. 2 turnovers, could have been 3. Botch fake punt. Missouri should be leading this game. I mean, Missouri has been the better team today. They are just killing themselves. Now, this is a huge drive. Missouri cannot give up points before halftime. You give up points here, LSU's getting the ball back. This game could be over pretty soon. You have to, at the most, give up a field goal here. Wait, hang on. What? Why does Missouri have the ball? So somebody's got to explain to me why Missouri has the football here. Tell me in the comments. I mean, great kick by Harrison Mevis from 51 yards, but somebody explain to me why Missouri has the ball, because LSU came out of there with it. Okay, well, Dove recovered the fumble. I totally missed it. I thought, and again, I'm having to watch this with the volume down because I can't have the volume bleeding over the broadcast. So obviously I can't hear, but I'm stunned. I thought LSU had that ball. Okay, well, good for him. Again, hang on to the ball, but and yeah, LSU can't challenge because they have no timeouts. James living up to during the pregame show, he told me Missouri had no chance to win, 0% chance, and I said it was very low, but that's why they play the games. And James doubled down. So appreciate you being here to own it. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Wow. So okay, now 24-24 with 2 minutes left. It's at least because you got the game tied, if you give up points here, it's not the worst thing, right? I mean, you don't want to. You love a stop. But if you give up points, it's not a situation where you might be down 3 scores at the beginning of the second half. So I think you can live with it. Man, I appreciate, guys, all the comments. This is great. This is by far the best one we've had. It's obviously going to take me a long time to catch up on some of these. I'll do some of it at halftime. I'm going to have to take a quick break to go down and grab something to eat at halftime. But I will try to get as many of your comments as I can. And in case you're right, man, Missouri should be up 14, but you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I think if you said at the beginning of the day, hey, will you take tied at halftime with LSU? I think everybody says yes, right? Drop screen pass there. It wasn't going to go anywhere anyway. I think Nick Bolton was gonna chase that down for very little gain. Yeah, hey, longer you let the underdog hang around, the longer, the more confident they get. And this has been a half I didn't expect to see out of Missouri all year, much less today. And hey, maybe LSU's not as good as we thought, but whatever. That doesn't matter at this point. All right, so now Bolton just throwing dudes around. Now you're in 3rd and 8. If I'm Drinkwitz, I think about calling a timeout right there after 2nd down. I understand why you don't do it, but I'd at least think about it. Because there would have been, let's see what happens. There would have been 1:43 left if they had called a timeout immediately after 2nd down. So They get the stop. So, Missouri would have saved 35 seconds. Now, you obviously don't know that. And so I understand why he didn't call the timeout, because LSU has been good on 3rd and long and all that. So I get it. But I would have thought about calling a timeout on 2nd and 8. So now you're going to get the ball back with 50 to 55 seconds and 3 timeouts. I think you have to go for it. I mean, you 100% have to go for it. So, yeah, Jarvis Ware back now, returning punts. And, I mean, obviously the right move. You had to make that change. It is kind of fun watching how everybody's at a different time of the game. Like, some of you guys are back with me, and some of you guys are 2 plays ahead, so. But, yeah, Jarvis Ware fielded it. Let's see. So, 57 seconds, and what's the yard line? Somewhere around the 20, 25, I think. No way you kneel with 3 timeouts. Absolutely no way. I could live with a handoff, but you don't kneel on the ball here. You at least hand the ball to Roundtree, and if he busts one, see what you can get done. I'd still, with LSU having no timeouts, I'd hurry up here and I'd throw the ball. I'd trust my quarterback. He's been really good. I'd quit yelling at the defense also. Appreciate Robert watching along, man. And yeah, Missouri got up on the ball, and they're showing a little urgency here. If he gets the first down, then you move. He didn't. Now you take it to the locker room. Well, let's see what the flag is. If the flag's on Missouri, you kneel and go to half. If the flag's on LSU, you got 3 timeouts, you try to go. Look, I'm not going to nitpick too much, because I think Eli Drinkwitz has called an incredible first half. But with LSU having no timeouts, I'd like to see a little more aggression. Now, the flip side of that is your team has put the ball on the ground 3 times in the first half. So, maybe you're a little careful. This penalty's on Missouri. Obviously, you down the ball at this point. You just take a knee and go into half now. I don't think there's any question about that. I'm going to update the other SEC scores real quick. So Florida's up 21-17 at half. South Carolina up 10-0 at half. A&M closer than I thought. South Carolina, Vandy, about what I would have expected. Vandy's really not good. Missouri, that's a game Missouri's got to win next week for sure. Jacob, appreciate you joining us. Appreciate everybody joining us, man. So here's what we're going to do real quick. I'm going to update the stats. And as you guys know, got to do that live. So you're just going to have to kind of watch me do it real quick. And then we'll kind of wrap up real quick with some quick halftime thoughts, and then I'm going to run and grab something to eat while we've got a little break, to be quite honest. So tied at 24, total yards. It hasn't been a Missouri domination, but Missouri has been the better team. I mean, without question. 283 to 167, and Missouri did actually dominate that second quarter. I mean, they were much better in the second quarter. Missouri has actually now thrown for more yards than LSU, which, surprises me. They've definitely run for more yards, because LSU has run for, wait for it, how many rushing yards does LSU have? That's insane. Like, Missouri gave up 230 yards on the ground last week. They've given up 1 yard to LSU on not many carries. Last time I looked, it was 7. Let me see how many carries LSU has. They have 7 carries for 1 yard. That's not great. First downs, 2-1 in favor of Missouri. Wait, hang on. I forgot to update Missouri's rushing yardage. They've run for 112, thrown for 171. I mean, Missouri's the better team so far. They've been better. They're everywhere except the turnovers. And, they've actually been lucky not to have more turnovers than they've got. Down 0-2 right now, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, down 0-2. That's directly resulted in 10 points for LSU. LSU also got 4 points after Missouri got caught in a defensive hold on what was going to be 2nd and 14. Missouri has given LSU a lot of what LSU has gotten. And obviously, you're upset by that, but also you're in a tie game where you have been the better team. And do we want to argue that LSU is overrated and not that good? Sure, feel free, argue that. But it doesn't matter because Eli Drinkwitz is trying to get his program going here, and so be it. You get it done any way you can get it done, right? I'm not complaining about who they're doing this against because a week ago at this time there were a lot of people that didn't think Missouri was going to win a game. So it's 24-24 at half with LSU. You take it. Look, I said all week, Missouri needs something to hang its hat on. Something to feel good about, right? You feel good about that half. Now, you have to come out and back it up. And this can't be a situation where you get outscored 21-0 in the third quarter and you give all this up. But you've got something to feel good about right now. And you've got belief in the guy calling the plays and running the system. You've got belief in these defensive linemen who look better than the ones that were out there earlier. The receivers look better than the ones that were out there earlier. This is a shorthanded team going blow for blow, and they've been better than the defending national champs. I don't really see much reason to be upset about any of that, right? I think if anybody had come to you at 10 o'clock this morning and said 24-24 at half, you take it. If you didn't take it, I don't know what's wrong with you. 100% you take it. So I'm just going to run, grab something to eat real quick. I'll be back for the second half. Hope you guys grab something to eat, grab something to drink, come back. We'll hang out and see what happens here after the second half. Again, on the call, go to callgentry.com, the Call and Gentry Law Group. For any legal needs you've got, probably don't have any right now. Most of you sitting in front of your TV. But if you need them, go to Call and Gentry. Give them a phone call. Go to their website, whatever. Thanks to them for sponsoring this. And again, I will be back in just a few minutes. All right, guys, this is Gabe. I'm back. Obviously, game's still at halftime. I got some lunch here, so I'm going to leave the stats page up so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me eat, because I'm sure that's not really what you want to do. But, we'll roll through some of your comments. Feel free to please continue to comment and all that. Thoughts on going into the second half. I'm going to kind of scroll through and see what we can find on Twitter about this. Quick update. Mitchell Forty had tweeted that Derek Stingley appeared to be okay after he got hurt, so that's good news for LSU. So offense really played well, couple mistakes. Defense started slowly, but I thought really played well second quarter. I mean, Missouri really dominated that second quarter because after the first quarter, LSU had something like 140 yards passing. I'm going to check for you guys, see if I can get second quarter stats because I don't think LSU had many yards at all in that second quarter. Let's see. So LSU had one play for 25 yards to start the second quarter on that drive. They took over after the fumble. Then 4 plays for 7 yards and a field goal. 3 plays for 8, 3 plays for 2. So in the second quarter, LSU ran 11 plays for 46 yards. Missouri, let's see what they did. Missouri ran 25 plays for 116 yards. So they outgained LSU 116 to 46 in that second quarter. Here's Missouri's drive so far. Touchdown, turnover on downs. That was the fake punt. Touchdown, fumble, touchdown, field goal. So they've scored on 4 of 7 drives. 2 of the 3, they gave it away. And then the other one, they had a fake punt that they got wrong. Here's LSU's drives. Touchdown, punt, touchdown, field goal, punt. So they've scored also on 4 of 7 drives. The 3 they haven't scored on are 3 and out. The last 2 scoring drives were 1 play for 25 yards and 4 plays for 7 yards. So LSU's last 5 drives have been 3 and out punt, 1 play touchdown when they started on the 25, 4 plays field goal when they started on the 24, 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt. That's look, there were some people pretty unhappy with Ryan Walters throughout the first quarter. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that second quarter, right? Because that was a pretty nice adjustment on Walter's part. Totally agree with Tucker here. This is one of the best coach football games I've seen out of Missouri in a long time because I mean, first of all, to get these guys to believe that they can do this is unbelievably impressive. And then when things maybe aren't even going, you're without guys because of COVID, because of injuries, then things aren't going well on game day, right? You're down 21-10 and LSU's kind of doing whatever they want and to keep these guys in it, or 24-14, not 21-10, but to keep these guys in it and come back and do what they did in the second quarter. And, I mean, most creative offense I've seen in a long time. Defense, not only are they blitzing and have found a way to cover a little bit, but also just the ability to hang in after LSU punched you in the face a couple times right to start. I mean, that unbelievably impressive job on both sides of the ball coaching. So I would think we're pretty close to starting the second half here. When we do, LSU gets the ball. They will, because they kicked to start the game. So LSU will start on offense, which, if you're Missouri, I think you're okay with the way the defense is playing. Nick Bolton made a couple plays back there late. Isaiah McGuire, to me, is the biggest find of this game so far. He's made plays. Devin Nicholson's made a couple plays at linebacker. Now, again, I don't think he won him one-on-one with Eric Gilbert a whole lot, and I'm not sure if Gilbert's going to play this half or not, but he's made some plays. Defensive line has managed to get a little pressure. Run game is a complete non-factor. They haven't done it much, and when they have done it, it hasn't worked. And, yeah, Tucker, it'll be interesting to see if Missouri keeps blitzing the second half or if they can get pressure with four. Definitely a little bit of a chess match going forward. So, a little longer halftime. That's one thing I like about the NFL over college is halftime doesn't last 20 minutes. Especially this year when the band isn't even allowed on the field. I don't need 20 minutes. Yeah, that's a good point, Trey. Missouri's found its quarterback for now anyway. And I won't necessarily say 3 years, but that half cemented it. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy. No question about it. LSU didn't run the ball because honestly, it hasn't worked. I'm going to see if I can find what their runs are. Miles Brennan has 3 carries for 1 yard. He had a 7-yarder. Ty Davis-Price, 1 carry for no yards. Chris Curry, 3 carries, no yards, and the long was 4. Missouri had 3 tackles for loss in the run game. It just wasn't working. And the pass game was working, right? They're averaging almost 13 yards of completion. Now, Brennan, I think, was completed his first 9. He cooled off, obviously, after that. 13 for 22 overall, and not all of that. Some of it was good coverage. Some of it was just him, to be quite honest. But okay, so got a touchback. We're underway here. I'm finishing up lunch. I'm going to come back on camera, but one-man crew, you got to deal with it a little bit. Yeah, Davin's asking about the run game. Yeah, 7 carries. So, no, they haven't tried a lot. They've run a little bit. Yeah, I knew Larry was moving up the charts. He should be number 2 by the end of this year. He should be ahead of everybody except Brad Smith with a good year this year. Okay, so this is a big drive for the Missouri defense, right? Did LSU adjust? Did they find something, or can Missouri come out and continue what they did in the second quarter? Well, that worked pretty well for LSU. I'm not sure if I'm LSU. That's really the time I'm talking trash. It is a tie game, and that's the first running play all day. But, So, yeah, look, LSU's got guys. And, hey, if their adjustment is to run the football, then Missouri's got to figure out what it can get done there. Second carry went for 5. I think you'd much rather have that than 25 on the first carry. All right, lunch is over. All right, so yeah, now again, you guys are probably a little ahead of me, but I've got LSU in 3rd and 4 from the 45 here, and I think this is 4 down territory probably if you're LSU, but big play. That's just a drop pass. I mean, Jarvis Ware was there and deserves some. I'm sorry. I guess that's Josh Bledsoe. Josh Bledsoe deserves credit for being there, but I think that's just a drop on 3rd down, right? Brennan put it in the place where he had to. His guy had to go down and get it. And see, I would have run on 3rd down because I would have gone for it on 4th down. I mean, that's the best punt return Missouri's had all day, simply by not getting near it. I understand the ball's out of bounds at the 2. It's not where you want to take over, but hey, credit to Von Rosenberg there. Good punt. Made a nice effort. Put it out of bounds at the 2, and now I think you got to hand it to Roundtree and try to get out of the shadow here. But at least it's your ball at the 2 rather than their ball at the 2. Had you gone and tried to catch that? Man, Missouri they're going to look back at this game as a huge missed opportunity if they don't find a way. I mean, you're in a tie game and you're losing the turnover battle 3-zip. Eli Drinkwitz got to want to cry over there. He kind of looked like it. Now, here's the positive way to look at this. LSU got the ball first. If they had gone down and scored, they're ahead of you, 31-24. That's fine. Like, it's still a one-score game. You've still got a shot, right? You're the better team. If you can – well, I don't want to say you're the better team. You have been the better team today. If you can avoid doing stuff like that for the last 27 minutes, you've got a shot. But you haven't been able to avoid doing stuff like that all day. Yeah, Missouri nowhere close to set on that play. LSU just caught them before they were ready. You know, touchdown for I think that was Tyrion Davis Price. So LSU with the lead after the Missouri defense had a stop. So offense and special teams really continue to put them in bad places. I mean, it's hard to blame the offense because, I thought he missed that PAT. I thought that was wide right, but he got it 31-24 LSU. So still not in a terrible situation, but you have given up 17 points straight off of turnovers. And, that's tough. And Tucker's asked a good question. If Trajan Jeffcoat has played, I haven't seen him or heard his name. That doesn't mean he hasn't, because it's kind of hard it's not like I'm looking at every guy trying to divert my attention between this screen and that screen and all that. So it's possible he has played and just hasn't done anything that I've noticed, but I definitely haven't noticed him. And hey, Eric, I'm going to argue with you here. Like, I get it. It's frustrating. Missouri should be ahead in this game. But I don't think anybody thought Missouri was going to be in this game in the third quarter, especially with all the guys that are out. They've got every shot to win this game right now. There's 27 minutes left. This is much better than the first two games of the season were over at this point. I mean, they were done. Missouri had no shot. They were down 28-3 in both games. This is I get frustrating, but I think you got to be much happier with this than pretty much everything you've seen up until this point. Okay, so apparently Jeffcoat has been on the field. Defense has played better than the score indicates. They've played better. They don't deserve to be on pace to give up 50 points. No. But they were dominated in the first two drives. So, yeah, they played a little bit better than the score would indicate. But they haven't been dominant either. Offense and special teams have definitely put them in some bad situations, though. I think David really hits on the takeaway for me here. Look, whatever's going to happen in this game is going to happen. They may win. LSU's talent may prove to be too much, whatever. But this has to give you good feelings and hope for the rest of this season and beyond. I mean, the play calling's been creative. You found some guy. Jalen Knox is a guy again. Tyler Beatty's playing well. Roundtree was playing really well till that fumble. McGuire, you're finding some dudes that can help you out, and I think you got to feel good. And I believe officially it's 17 points off turnovers. Either way, way too much, obviously. So now Missouri needs to, look, the offense was in a bad spot on its own 2-yard line. It probably wasn't scoring on that drive anyway. Now, you didn't want to fumble on the 2. But now this is your first real chance to try to go get something done on offense in this half. There's the jet sweep to Knox again, and I tell you what, man, he is, more than anything else, he's a different player this year. He looks completely different than he has at any point. I'm gonna look up his numbers because he's having himself a day. Let's see, he's got 3 runs for 20 yards and a touchdown. That's him with the catch there. He's got 3 catches for 51 yards. So 6 touches for 71 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty good. And hey, somebody was asking earlier today if we were going to see Michael Wilson throw a pass. I don't know, but he just caught one. So yeah, Missouri not backing down, man. I mean, blow for blow, sticking with them. 41 yards to Michael Wilson. Another just empty the playbook, type of thing. Deep shot. I got to see a replay of this, guys, because I don't know how a guy gets that open. I don't know how that happens. I don't. I mean, so there goes Wilson. I mean, the corner drops him, and there was no safety. It wasn't like a safety didn't get there. There just wasn't a safety. I'm not sure I've ever seen a blown coverage like that. Bo Pelini, I don't know if the cornerback clearly thought it was zone coverage. I have no idea if it was zone coverage because there was. I don't know if 18 was supposed to drop 20 yards further back, but I don't know. The corner dropped him, and there just wasn't a safety there. Wow. Well, either way, 31-31, and Missouri answers. And Missouri has answered all day. And, they're in this game. And now they're going to be in this game. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think we've got a game all day now. I think the beginning of the third quarter is always big for the underdog because the other team, the favorites, had time to go back to the locker room and kind of regroup and all that and make adjustments and this and that. And, hey, the adjustments didn't work. Like, the adjustments just left Michael Wilson at 27 yards from any defender. You're seeing guys that that weren't used the last couple of years making plays now. Michael Wilson with that touchdown. Obviously, Jalen Knox being used the way he's being used. Nico Hay making a couple plays today. So, lot to like out of this. And offensive line giving him enough time. I think Bazelak's been sacked once, maybe. LSU has 1 sack. They have 5 tackles for loss, but only 1 sack. LSU scored 17 points off turnovers. Missouri it's 31-31, and LSU has 17 points off turnovers and hasn't turned the ball over themselves. Missouri they've dominated this game, Really no other way to put it. They've dominated the game, and they're tied. You'd like to be more than tied, but hey, can't complain. Okay, so let's see. I'm finally looking at the replay. That's just mass confusion on LSU's. They've got 4 defenders literally defending no one on this play. So yeah, just mass confusion. So can't complain about any of that. And now it's back to the defense. And look, I mean, if you're the defense, you're going, guys, they haven't had a drive longer than 4 plays since the first quarter. Like, they haven't done anything against us. We haven't really given up these points. So, it's and now the defense has done something. I mean, I don't know, guys. Might be first one to 60, I guess. Let's see how it happens. I'm not there yet, but oh, that's bad defense on the. I think that was Gillespie. That's just. I mean, he just took a terrible route to the ball. That's just a poor play by the safety. You know. No, it's Martez Manuel. He was there. I mean, he could knock that down, but I don't know, just started backpedaling and just I don't know. So yeah, that tie lasted all of about 8 seconds. It's now 38-31 LSU. We are in a full-blown shootout. I mean, I said earlier this week that Missouri wasn't going to win a game in which it gave up 35 points. Missouri trying to put that to the test. Look, the corner got beat there, but the safety I don't know, man. Ishburdine got beat, but Manuel was there, and I don't know. We're not firing Ryan Walters. I mean, that again, his guy was in position. He didn't make the play. Now, also, they've really only given up 21 points. I mean, 17 points are off turnovers inside the 25-yard line. You can't blame the defense for that. We're not firing Ryan Walters based on this game. Let's look at the number. LSU has 277 yards. They've run for 36. 30 of them were on one play. 24 of them were on one play. The defense has been solid. Not great. LSU's 0 for 6 on third down. They have 9 first downs in this game. We're not firing the defensive coordinator because the punt returners and the offense keep fumbling the ball. Wow, that's not the kind of bounce that usually goes Missouri's way. Dove bobbled it and then caught it again. That frequently goes the other direction. It did it right around the official, too. Now, he should have caught it the first time, but nice concentration. Oh, I don't know if Connor Bazelak had any other options, but the one he took almost got his head taken off on second down. They come back and get it, but whew. So I think the ruling might be that he was on top of an LSU player, not actually on the ground. We'll see. You guys may know LSU might challenge this, but let's see. I don't think there's, at least on that replay, there was nothing to show me that he was actually touching the ground. I think he slid about 2 yards on top of a defensive player. Now, let's see. I'm sure there'll be another angle. I can't see from there has to be something from the other side. You guys are seeing replays I haven't seen yet, I think. Okay, yeah. So it's going to be 4th and 1.5 yards. I don't know. I'd probably punt. With this much time left in the game, I'd probably punt, because if you go for it and don't get it, you're basically you're already giving them, you're basically saying, okay, we're down 2 scores, especially with their kicker is pretty good. I think you have to punt. I think it's the right call. At some point, your defense is going to have to get a stop. And again, they've gotten quite a few. LSU's last few drives were, they had 3 and outs in the first half. Oof. Big punt, but rolled too far. Now what's the flag? Okay, so LSU should be starting back at the 10 or so. Obviously, can't give up a 90-yard drive. Yeah, Andy, takeaway would be ideal, obviously, but really just get a stop. More than anything, just get a stop, even if it takes a little bit of time. So, hey, while we got a minute, again, call Gentry.com, the Colin Gentry Law Group. Check them out. Give them a call. Anytime you need something at 573-644-6090. Well, preferably like legal advice. Don't give them a call if you want a sandwich. I don't know. Maybe they'd do that, but I think it's more likely they probably can do something for you related to legal troubles. So check them out. Call Gentry.com. 573-644-6090. Appreciate them for sponsoring this part of our virtual game day experiences, and appreciate all you guys being here. While you got a minute, hit like, subscribe, whatever. Kind of spread the word. I don't know how it helps. I just know it helps. If the more likes and things like that we get, it tends to be more visible. So I guess do that. And after the game, when the game ends, I'm going to update the stats. I'm going to immediately log off. I'm going to go on to Eli Drinkwitz's Zoom call. I will record that. When that's done, I'm going to come back on here, and we're going to start the Boulevard postgame drink. We will start it. The first 10 to 15 minutes will be Eli Drinkwitz's, the recording of Eli Drinkwitz's Zoom call, and then we're going to open it up to you guys to take your calls, talk about this game, talk about what you saw today. Been a lot of good interaction on the pregame show and on this game day watch along, so hopefully that sticks up throughout the postgame. Hopefully some of you guys are going to be able to give me a ring, and hopefully some other people will join in at that point too. And we'll see if we're talking about a huge upset win or a loss where we're kind of scratching our heads going, Boy, I really think Missouri should have won that game. Decide that in the next 25 minutes. Striker, I do not believe Missouri has a takeaway this year, and that's obviously been a problem. It's one thing to get stops. It's another to actually go make plays, and create something. But we'll see. Do you think you'll do this again if or when life goes back to normal? This is cool, but don't know if it's something if you could actually be in the press box. I think I will, honestly. It's a different way to get people involved, and there's no reason for two of us to be at every game necessarily. We'll see when things and it might be a little bit of a back and forth where I do this one week and I do something different another week. We'll just see how it goes. But I definitely, I decided I got the equipment and if the feedback is good, if people like it, I think it's probably something we'll try to stick with going forward. So yeah, again, LSU has run for 36 yards and got 24 on one carry. So Missouri has done a really nice job against the LSU run game. Now, LSU certainly has not committed to it. But, still, Missouri's done a nice job. Passing game, probably less of a nice job. To be quite honest with you, and look, LSU's good, no question, but it's been rough for Missouri's pass defense so far. Yeah, Michael, appreciate the question, man. This year is just so different that it's hard to tell. There are definitely some differences. Drinkowitz is a little snarkier. He'll let you know if you asked a bad question a little bit more. But I found him to be pretty forthcoming. He generally answers your question, which a lot of coaches don't. But we can. That's definitely something we can talk more about on our Wednesday night show too. If you pop on there and hopefully, maybe when Mitch is here too, we'd have a little more time to talk about that, where we're not trying to also keep up with the game. Missouri, the pressure has dropped a little bit. Now I'll be interested to see, now that LSU's getting close to midfield, I think that Ryan Walters is going to have to come with a blitz or something. He's got to do a little something to get Miles Brennan kind of out of the rhythm he seems to have settled into here. Striker, you might be right, but that was fourth and a long one. I wouldn't have hated if they went for it, but I just didn't think it was the right time there. I thought you pin them back, and you have to ask your defense at some point to make a play. And now, 2nd and 10, we'll see if they will. Looked like Trey Williams got a little pressure on that first down play, and then Trajan Jeffcoat, I guess, going to get it on 2nd down. So, yeah. Yeah, you guys, I think, are about a full play ahead of me. Some of you are. Which, again, is fine. I'll... I'm going to fight back a little bit on the defense being bad. I don't think it's been bad today. It's been put in some really bad spots. It hadn't been great, but it's been decent. It's been put in some really bad spots by the offense and the special teams. I mean, 21 points to LSU, that's in mid-third quarter, that's nothing to be ashamed of. And they just made a play here. So, the defense has been good enough. Is that a fumble? Huh. I thought it was a fumble. I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought that was a fumble, not an incomplete pass, watching it live. Let's see. No, he never had it. Definitely incomplete. So, that was the right call. I would get nowhere near this punt. I would just, whatever. If it lands on the one, it lands on the one. But I've seen no proof that you can field a punt. Right call by Jarvis Ware to back away from that. That Missouri takes over at the 17. Hey, they've had 3 or 4 75-yard drives, so you're good. Yeah, and that could have bounced back and hit one of the guys blocking, no question. And the way this day has gone, I don't think that would have necessarily surprised a lot of people. It just in that Missouri has had a few things go the other way, and I like the typo, Phil. The punts are stressful, but the pints also can be stressful at times. Yeah, and Stryker brings up a good point. Third down is where Missouri had really struggled this year, and they've made some plays on third down today. So that's definitely a sign of improvement. And Andy, yeah, 100%. We talked a lot in the first half about how Drinkwitz has called a great game, and really, I think Ryan Walters has called a good one too. He's dialed up pressure at the right times. I they've been put in bad spots, but I think that they've made some plays. And Barrett Bannister, man, I never, ever, ever saw this kid having this kind of career when he came here, but he is incredibly reliable and just seems to get things done. And I've been really impressed. Connor Bazelak is not trying to hit a home run all the time. He's fine with 6 yards. Just hit the outlet. I've been impressed. That's a heck of a little back shoulder throw and a catch by Smith. That's really nice. That's it. Great adjustment. Great throw. Because when you got a guy with his kind of speed, you've got to respect the fact that he might try to run past you. So. And good to see them going back to Roundtree, too, even after the fumble and sticking with him. I mean, not that there was a lot of doubt that they would do that, I don't think, but sometimes, sometimes guys get buried after a fumble, at least for the rest of that day, and good that Drinkwitz hadn't let that happen. Again, just nice little 5-yard over the middle, I'm going to have to look up on Deontay Smith. I don't know a ton about him other than, yes, he's a walk-on. I believe he was at a D2 school in Kansas last year. I'll have to look up a little bit more. I'm sure we'll be writing about him this week, and we've got another tie game. Tyler Beatty. I mean, guys, Missouri is I had no clue this was coming. I just absolutely no clue any of this was coming. And that's a credit to to everybody, to the coaches, to the players, all that. Edmund, I know, man, you're ahead of me. I'm trying to do like 7 things. I'll get it all updated. Trust me. I'm just not quite there yet. Yeah, Tyler Beatty, what was that? 21 yards. Okay. I mean, I just no way did I expect any of this today. I picked 27-10, and that was before I knew all the guys who were out. At some point, I mean, this is just going to come down to it very well. There you go, Todd. I appreciate it. Coffeeville Community College is where Deontay Smith came from. So one of two things is going to happen. Either somebody's going to make a play or somebody's going to make a mistake. I don't know which one's more likely. But right now, this looks like a who has the ball last type of game because neither team is getting a ton of stops. Although, again, both have won this half. You know, it was 24-24 at half. Each team's had 3 drives. Each team scored 2 touchdowns. So each defense does have 1 stop, but it kind of looks like who has the ball last. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this. Missouri has made more mistakes. So is Missouri more prone to make a mistake here in the last 20 minutes? Also, Missouri has made more mistakes and is still tied. So if they can just avoid a mistake, do they win the game? You know, what a day for Connor Bazelak. Like, if Missouri wins this game, that's an SEC Player of the Week type game right there. 23-27 for 305. You know, that's pretty impressive. No, he's been fantastic. I don't think there's any question, you know. Yeah, Drinkwitz has done a hell of a job with this team today, no question. Unbelievable, impressive so far. Now, look, you're 38-38 late in the third. You don't want to waste this opportunity. You want to finish this off. Andy, I'm going to argue those aren't Locke-like numbers. Those are better than Locke. Those are Chase Daniel-like numbers. He's been great today. And they're showing a highlight of Andy right now, which is coming to town next week and losing 34-7 to South Carolina. So, like, look, that ought to be a win next week. So you'd like this to be a win too. You'd like having an actual winning streak, you know. That's a crazy number from Gary that Connor Bazelak had only thrown 143 passes his entire high school career. I mean, I knew he ran a triple option, but wow. You can see after that first down play, Nick Bolton was unhappy with somebody. I'm not sure who it was, but somebody wasn't doing their job. I want to be clear. I'm only comparing Bazelak's numbers to Daniel today. I'm not going to put him in Chase Daniel category just quite yet. I want to point out, Bill, on Terrace Marshall's 75-yard touchdown, they did have him doubled. Neither one of them could cover him. And I mean, they had him doubled there. They had 3 guys there. Just none of them can keep up with him. Terrace Marshall's just better than Missouri's guys. I mean, let's see what happened on that play. I mean, so 17, Jalen Carlise got beat off the line. Josh Bledsoe spent the first 15 yards of that play backpedaling. You know, I don't know. That's not good. But again, at this point, who has the ball last? That's what it's looking like. Oh, that's actually a pretty big break for LSU on 1st and 10. Brennan's arm was hit, and that was just floating out there out of nowhere. Josh Bledsoe hadn't had a very good day today, and I haven't heard Tyree Gillespie's name much. I know Jelani Williams played quite a bit, so I'm not sure what the situation is. Okay, so now 2nd 20 around the 36-yard line. I mean, they're not in field goal range necessarily yet. It's possible, but it's not a sure thing. I mean, this is a 53-yard kick from where they're at right now. If you can get one more negative play, you've got a chance to hold them without points. But yeah, if you can hold them to 3, then you're okay. You got to wonder if either of these defenses has anything left, too. I mean, they've been chasing guys all over. The draw play on 2nd 20 is odd, but, whatever. So the defense, look, they came up big when they needed to. They bent some, didn't break, so. Boy, that was a heck of a rush on 3rd down, too. Missouri almost got there. I couldn't tell who it was, but almost got there. I mean, in this game, look, field goals are stops. I mean, I think you got to be happy with it. The kid made a 51-yarder. Credit him. Just like Mevis made a 53-yarder earlier. Sometimes the guy makes a play. So it's 41-38 now. LSU will start the 4th there. Field goals are wins in this game right now. I mean, yeah, that really seems to be what it is. Just have more drives, right? One stop. It feels like one stop is going to win this game. We'll find out if either team can get one. Because honestly, it seems like it's been a while since either team has. So we're going to go in. I'm going to update these 3rd quarter stats for you guys real quick. Missouri has run for 148 yards through 3 quarters. LSU has run for 45, which is huge. They ran for 44 in that quarter, so very impressive there. Both teams now over 300 throwing the ball. Not a great day for defensive backfields, but look, Missouri has 453 yards of total offense. They've outgained LSU. I mean, they've been the better team, except for the number we're going to get to down at the bottom in just a minute. Let's see what first down. I mean, first downs are 22-12, guys. That's domination. Now, yes, LSU's had some big plays, which knocks down the number of first downs. But Missouri's been better in every statistical category except one. And let's see if I can figure out a way to edit that one, because I'm certainly struggling with it right now. And that's it. 3 turnovers, 0 turnovers. I mean, that's... If Missouri doesn't win this game, you don't have to look very far for why. I mean, that's it. That's the story. They gave the ball away 3 times, and LSU hasn't given it away. Now, are we going to hit a point where LSU does give it away? Maybe. If Missouri gives it away again, I think this game's over. right? But, we'll see. That's a fair question, Kevin. The backups look kind of better, and have certainly given great effort. So I think that's. I don't know how you bench anybody that played this week, right? And yeah, Justin's right. I mean, you wanted a chance in the fourth. You got a chance. Here you are. Now you obviously wanted to take advantage of it, but there's a chance. Yeah, Jacob, Connor Bazelak theoretically could actually start a game in 6 consecutive years, which is kind of ridiculous. Comment about time of possession here. Yeah, Missouri's had the ball for a little under 25 minutes. LSU a little over 20. So the LSU obviously made up a little time there. Now Missouri's got it here, so it theoretically ought to be 28, 29-20 by the time this drive is done if Missouri can sustain something. Bazelak is age-wise, eligibility-wise, he is a redshirt freshman technically right now. I don't know how old he is. He's 19 or 20, but I'm not 100% sure there. We don't know for sure if everybody's out next week. It is our guess that most of the people who miss this game will miss next week too, but we don't know for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to come back here now. Take a couple of those things out of your way. Okay, so A&M has a lead now. That's interesting. I would not have forecast that. My broadcast is buffering, so that's unfortunate. Hadn't happened really, but probably just throws me another 20 seconds behind, but I don't want to close it because I can't promise I could get back on. Davin, I use a program called Ecamm Live to do this. A friend of mine recommended it to me. It's pretty idiot proof, so that's good for me. All right, so yeah, I mean, if you can get out of 1st and 20 now, that's something. You've really done something. Yeah, I think Towski Dove probably starts. I don't know why you wouldn't start him. He's been very good. I'd start him and Knox and probably Barrett Bannister going forward. Honestly, I think the guys who have been out here today have earned the right. I mean, they say you can't lose your job to injury. I don't know. Maybe you can lose your job to COVID. Like, the guys who are out there deserve to be the guys going forward, I think. I think they're the I mean, they've done something that none of us thought they could do. And really with the full lineup, maybe Missouri doesn't do this. Maybe they've rallied around these guys to get this done. I don't know, but these guys have earned their right, and Missouri already in field goal range after that Roundtree run. No, Gary Hazelton was one of the guys out for COVID. So again, here are the guys that are not playing today, whether it's for COVID or injury. Damon Hazelton, Kiki Chisholm, Dominic Jacinto, Darius Robinson, Kobe Whiteside, Akil Byers. And there are some other ones, but that have been out earlier, So That's a lot of dudes that aren't playing. Man, that's unfortunate that there's a hold on that play because Tyler Beatty really did a nice job to make something out of that. I think it was Beatty. Maybe it was Roundtree, but I thought it was Beatty. Either way, 1st and 20 again. Missouri got out of it once. I can't hear, but I'm guessing that was on Mike Mayetti based on the camera focusing on him. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still more focused on Beatty managing to somehow slip out of that. Now, all right, now you're about 10 yards from field goal range, 20 from a first down. Interesting to see what they do here. It's amazing how much easier offense looks when you just catch the ball. I mean, these aren't difficult throws. Missouri's just hanging on to the ball. It kind of changes everything, you know? Now down to the 35. This is by no means gimme field goal range. You know, you'd like to pick up some extra yardage. Oh, that's a pretty nice job, honestly, by Bazelak to get that snap and get rid of the ball. I mean, you know, obviously not ideal, but pretty nice job just to collect it, not take a huge loss, not knock yourself out of potential field goal range. And now, obviously, you want the first down, but I'm fine with a throw short of the sticks if you get 5 or 6 yards and put yourself in a position for a makeable field goal to tie it, I'd be okay with that. And we've got a timeout. I don't know who called it. Abrams Drain, I don't think has played on offense. He did play on special teams and didn't go great. 2 fumbles, one of which I don't believe was his fault, one of which was. But I haven't seen him in on offense. If he has, he hadn't caught a ball, you know. Yeah, I agree. I could definitely see a screen pass, something that, you know, gets the ball into Beatty's hands or knocks his hands, gives him a chance, isn't going to lose you yardage, but worst case scenario is like 4 or 5 yards and you get Mevis a little bit closer. That's where I'd go on this because from here it's a 52, 53 yarder, and he made one from this distance. So it's possible that he could, but I think you'd like to get a little bit closer for him. And you know, then run a play where if a guy breaks a tackle, then he can get the full 11, 12 yards and move the sticks, but just pick up a little bit. And yeah, Jacob, I'm a little surprised that J.J. Hester hasn't played as well. But no, I haven't seen him out there. I haven't seen Jay Macklin at all. I thought there might be a chance just because they were short on bodies that we'd see both those guys, but we have not done so yet. A&M and Florida now tied, and South Carolina just getting absolutely – they're railroading Vanderbilt 41-7. Vanderbilt is a poor team. That should certainly be a Missouri win, and I don't know if you can fire a coach after a COVID season, but I think Derek Mason might be testing it. All right, so look, they ran the screen we called for, and it lost 4 yards, and now you're looking at a 56-yard field goal. I know what happens. I wouldn't probably have kicked it, but I guess from that place, like you can't go for it on 4th and 15. I guess you don't want to kick. You don't want to punt from the 39-yard line. I guess I get why they tried the field goal, but man, 56 yards, that's asking a lot, and that's giving them decent field goal or field position. I think honestly, I probably would have punted. Yeah, that was just kind of in that position where I don't know what you can do. Because if 4th and 15, it's a really low percentage. Like I guess you could run a screen or something short and hope to break a tackle, but if you're doing that, you almost just punt and pin them down inside the 10. I guess if you think your guy has the leg to get it 56 yards, then I don't have a problem with it. I get why they did it, but it's a very low percentage. Now the defense needs to stop. Even a field goal is okay, but you've got to keep this a one-score game. Just like Justin's saying, I mean, if you get to a 2-score game, then I don't know if it's over, but it's incredibly difficult. I couldn't tell if that field goal was short or hit the upright. Couldn't really tell for sure. But it definitely did not. It landed in front of the goalpost. So if it wasn't short, it hit the upright. I don't know. I couldn't tell based on the angle what happened, and it appears a couple people think, different things. So I don't know. And definitely the penalties look ill-timed penalties and turnovers. I mean, Missouri's had chances to get this done, no question. So. Yeah, that's where we're at. Missouri needs one stop. And look, you weren't going to win this game without one stop, right? And again, even if it's 3, you can give up a field goal on this drive and be okay. You wouldn't love to, obviously, but you can. Well, that's not ideal that Nick Bolton's not in on this drive. Although I think would be better to have like an all-pro safety because it's the deep stuff and it's the wide receivers that have hurt Missouri. It's not really been the short stuff or the running game. So yeah, Chad Bailey at middle linebacker. If I'm LSU, that's where I'm going. Boy, that was terrible camera work. Like I had no idea where the ball was there for a minute, but apparently it's a first down. All right, so yeah, I mean in field goal range, but you got to hold them to a field goal. And you got time to get the ball back twice, but But again, you don't want to go down 2 scores with 10 minutes left. You just makes it really tough. Pretty impressive confidence by LSU, though, just taking deep shots still with, in a 41-38 game with 10 minutes left. They don't care. So I'm going to assume we're going to see a catch by number 6 here based on this comment. Yeah, it's a nice play by Terrace Marshall, but it seems like Bledsoe's really got to get him down. Yeah, Justin, you could drop 8 into coverage or you could blitz. I don't know. I don't know. Michael, you're welcome to your opinion, man, but I don't know. I don't get the negativity at this point in time. I don't think it's terrible coaching so much as it's just he's just better than their guys. Like I don't know what scheme you run to make guys who can't cover him be able to cover him. There have been a couple times, guys have been in position and just didn't do it, and then just a couple times where like he just ran by him. Sometimes the other guy's better, and Terrace Marshall is better than anyone Missouri has in the secondary. I don't know, I don't know how to fix that other than making Missouri's guys maybe faster. This game has really, really ground to a halt. Like it was moving along pretty well, and now all of a sudden it just the last minute seems to have taken 30 minutes. Yeah, again, I mean, let's look at the stats, and I'm going to do the live stats instead of the third quarter stats. LSU has 405 yards. Missouri has 508. LSU's run for 45 yards. LSU has 15 first downs. Missouri has 24. LSU's 0 for 8 on third down. LSU's averaging 7.6 yards a play. Missouri's averaging 8.1. LSU's averaging 3 yards a run. Missouri 5.9. LSU has 17 points off turnovers. Guys, Missouri's defense has been better than LSU's defense. It's not even close. I mean, it's I don't know. It just I can't fire a guy off this game. I don't know what you. Yeah, 38 points, a lot of points, but it's that type of game. And again, 17 of them were on 3 drives that totaled 30 yards. Totaled 30 yards. One got 25, one got 4, one started at the 2. So I'm sorry, 31 yards. This has not been, no, it hadn't been a dominant defensive performance, but it hasn't been awful. And again, Terrace Marshall is better than their guys, right? And I'm not saying this is a great defense, but Alabama's going to score on everybody. The Tennessee game was disappointing. They got blown off the ball. But that's the only one where I look at and say it's really bad defense. I'm never going to win an argument with people that are wanting to fire a guy, but I don't agree. I mean, and look, if we get to the end of the year, sure, but it's not happening in week 3. I mean, it just, Yeah, if we get to week 10 and they're giving up 38 points and 480 yards a game, maybe you fire him. Although, honestly, that might be average for this year if you want the truth. So let's wait. No, there's no heat yet. All right, so now what, third and a bunch? Man, Jeff Coates got a motor. I really, really impressed. Trey Williams was back there too, but that's motor. That's a motor from Jeff Coates. So, look, just you gotta just force them to kick. I mean, that's it. They're probably gonna make the field goal, but force them to kick. The only goal on third down here, the only directive to your defense is do not let anyone behind you. Like, just, you can't get beat deep here on third and 17 or 18 or whatever it is. You cannot get beat deep. There's no excuse for that to happen in this situation because they need 18 yards. Just don't let them behind you. Again, I think a minute and a half has gone off the clock in the last 40 minutes. That was absolutely a perfectly timed blitz from Nick Bolton. I mean, perfectly timed blitz. And see, that's, again, like Ryan Walters gets credit for that. If we're blaming him for a lot of the other things, he gets credit for that. And Missouri about to come up with another big play. All right, so, hey, special teams comes up with a play too. It has been a rough day for that unit. But somebody said it was Trey Williams. I didn't see who got it. I thought Trey Williams was off to the right side of the line, and it wasn't the guy in the middle, or it was the guy in the middle who blocked it. I could be wrong. Trey certainly was celebrating like he blocked it, so it probably was him. Have to see a replay. Also have to see what's this flag. Oh, personal foul. Great. Okay, so I don't have volume up. So is it dead ball? What's going on here? Okay, well, Missouri still has the ball, so that's the important thing. Down 41-38, they have the ball. Rakestraw certainly shaken up, but good sign that he's getting up on his own. That was a really low kick. Credit to Missouri for blocking it, don't get me wrong, but really low. And, boy, if Rakestraw had been able to pick that up, he might have gone for a while. He might, honestly, Rakestraw might have scored if he'd been able to pick that up. Yeah, I kind of agree, Stryker. That looked like don't get me wrong, Missouri gets credit for it, but that looked like a rough kick. Roundtree did a good job on first down of just cutting his losses. Lose 1, don't lose 20, you know. I mean, look, guys, we're in the fourth quarter against LSU, and Chance Looper is making plays. I mean, Drink is scheming this offense to this is impressive. I mean, it really is. Nice play fake by Bazelak, too. Nice little move by Looper. Wow. Because, I mean, he could have been down at the 40. That shake got him an extra 30 yards. Right. Okay, should have been down at the 45, ended up at the 10. 35 yards, and now it didn't end up getting him anything, but nice job by Deontay Smith down blocking ahead of the play. Okay, so now, again, goal number 1, hang on to the football and tie the game. That's goal number 1, right? Obviously, you don't want to settle for a field goal at the 5-yard line, but goal number 1 is you have to tie the game. 8.8 yards of play for Missouri. I mean, that's something else. All right, so I run it on second down. I run it on second down with Roundtree. And, obviously hope you get in. But if you don't get in, you get halfway there. You're at the 3. I do something with a run-pass option on third down. And then, what if you got 4th and goal at the 1? What do you do? I honestly think maybe you go for it in that situation. And obviously we're getting ahead of ourselves, but a lot of interesting stuff here because 5.5 minutes left. LSU's clearly going to get the ball back. You've had a tough time stopping them. At this point, after this drive, LSU definitely gets the ball back. Missouri probably gets the ball back. Well, here we know what's coming. So, Missouri in the lead against LSU with 5 minutes to play. I mean, guys, hey, I will fully admit I never, ever, ever thought that was coming. This team deserves certainly a world of credit. That's a nice little throw by Bazelak, and that's another Kansas City Chiefs looking play design right there. It really is. Just a little kind of almost shot put, honestly. I'm pretty sure that's the first touchdown catch of Nico Hayes' career. Big, huge extra point coming. Missouri made it. So 45-41. One stop wins this game. One stop wins it because LSU has only one timeout. So if you get a stop and you get the ball back, you're going to be able to run out the clock. Almost certainly. One stop wins this game for Missouri. That's that's where you're at. One stop wins the game. Kevin, I don't think it being a home game is huge. I mean, you can't completely disregard it, but I'm not sure that's been a huge factor, to be quite honest. And Gary, talking about Bazelak, he's been great 400 yards, hell of a game, no question. Really, everybody. I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can find a negative about today. Yes, the turnovers, but even with the turnovers, being outscored 17-0 off turnovers, they're up 45-41 in this game. They have 585 yards. Bazelak is 29 for 34 for 406 and 4 touchdowns. They've run for 179 yards. 25 first downs. They're better on third down, 8.7 per play, 5.6 per rush. They've been better at everything. Third already, even if LSU were to hold the ball the rest of the game, Missouri has 1 time of possession. The only thing you can complain about are 5 fumbles, and they've lost 3 of them. But they have lost the turnover battle 3-0, and they are leading LSU with 5 minutes left. That's unreal. Just unreal, Good point too. That Bazelak just the second start. So, I don't think the depth chart changes next week because I don't think any of the guys that weren't available this week are going to be available next week. I think it'll be a couple weeks before we see any impact. But again, I don't know how anybody who started today hasn't earned the right to start the next time. Yeah, I really think the MVP of this is the offensive game plan. It has been fantastic. Bazelak did start against Arkansas last year. That was the game where he tore his ACL. All right, A&M and Florida are tied. South Carolina has already beaten Vanderbilt. So we'll update those during timeout. One more thanks to Colin Gentry Law Group. Check them out in Jeff City. 644-6090. Give them a call, 573-644-6090 for any legal needs you have. Thanks to them for making On the Call possible. Thanks to all you guys for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that for us real quick. And again, when the clock hits 0, I'm going to update the stats. I'm going to jump on Drinkwitz's Zoom call, and I will be back with the post-game show. So hope you guys are all here for that. Michael, we have not seen Sean Robinson today. It has been all Connor Bazelak thus far, and I would imagine it will be all Connor Bazelak for the foreseeable future. Well, Phil, I hope you make it not only through the rest of this game, but through the post-game show, man. We're gonna need a call. We're gonna need to talk to some Mizzou fans about this one. Trey Williams. Oh, my. Sometimes a guy makes a play. Trey Williams got there, hit the quarterback, caused just a wobbly throw, and dude made a play. Sometimes it happens. Run game still just getting nowhere for LSU. A couple yards there, but for the game, 17 carries for 45 yards. You got to be happy about that. I think I'd find number 6 though. Yeah, that's a scheme breakdown with Nick Bolton on Terrace Marshall. That's. Oh no, Bolton wasn't covering him. Martez Manuel was covering him. Bolton came off and made the tackle. So Bolton was not covering him. That was not his guy. Bolton was covering the tight end. I might just triple Marshall. I might put everybody I have on Marshall. And just let anybody else beat me. The other key here is if they do score, you've got to leave enough time to at least get down for a field goal. Oh man, that was Missouri got very close there. I thought there was a sack. A&M lining up for a game-winning field goal from Florida's 19. Looks like Trey Williams cramping there. You hope it's just a cramp. I don't know, but the way he was sitting, it looked like that might have been the case. So A&M about to attempt a 36-yard field goal, I think, which would beat Florida. So my bets would have been terrible today, which is why I don't bet. Like, I mean, it's dumb. All right, there you go. Texas A&M 44-41 final. Wow. Or I'm sorry, 41-38. Didn't see that coming. Not sure it's great for the SEC, but it is what it is. No, this is a bigger upset than that win over Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma was number 1, but Missouri was ranked in that game. That was not like a crazy upset. I'd have to go back a ways. I'll have to figure it out. Now, by point spread, I don't even know the last time Missouri would have pulled off one this big. That is a heck of a throw on second down. I mean, and again, let's remember, Missouri's got Jalen Carlise in this game. Like he's played like 4 college snaps, and he had good coverage. But I mean, remember, Missouri has 3 timeouts. So, they're at the 28. They're probably going to be a little closer pretty quick, but at the 28-yard line right now, you're not in give them a touchdown quite yet. Now, that's Jelani Williams limping off the field. Hey, well, they're not going to attempt a field goal. I mean, this is touchdown or bust for LSU. There will be no field goals in this. Either they score and take the lead, or they're going to turn the ball over on downs and Missouri's going to win. But there's no field goals happening here. The kicker isn't going to come out. Yeah, I mean, ideally, yes. Ideally, you stop LSU and get the ball back, and you've already won. But obviously, if they score, you want them to score with at least, a minute left or something to give you a chance to get the ball and go down and either tie it with a field goal, force overtime, somehow bust a play, whatever. Yeah, and LSU with 1 timeout. Missouri just used 1 and has 2 left. And again, you're not at the point. They're not close enough where you're letting them score yet. They're not at the 4-yard line. They're at the 22. So, right now you're still trying to make a play. Missouri had to run a guy off late there. Looks like Cy Martin's in the game at defensive end here. McGuire's on the other end. Surprised they ran, and I'm honestly kind of surprised it worked. What? that should stop that should be a first down and stop the clock. I don't know. That's a terrible spot. I mean, we said at halftime this might be a who had the ball last wins, and I think after this play, Missouri's going to have to use the timeouts on defense to preserve time just in case. I think you have to. I think you got to call a timeout now after first down. Because if you're not using them now, there's no point. Like you're not going to have enough time. I don't. I think he should have been using timeout. Well, let's see. I don't understand man-to-man coverage with Adam Sparks against Marshall. I don't get that. Yeah, I think that's a catch. I think it's definitely a catch. I think the ground caused it. But I don't a lot of you guys don't seem to think it's a catch. I thought it was a catch. But why is Adam Sparks one-on-one with Terrace Marshall? I want to see a better replay. I think he has that ball, guys. He had control till that ball hit the ground. I think that's a catch. I think it's pretty clear he has possession there. But again, man-to-man coverage on the one guy that's beating you all day. Okay, so now they're at the 1 yard line. Like, you got to let them score. I mean, you have to. First play, right? I guess they could overturn it. I thought he had possession, but I don't know what a catch is anymore. So look, I don't know. Yeah, if they get the ball on the 1 yard line, you got to let them score. I mean, you have to. Okay, so LSU ball at the 1. I mean, I mean, I think you have to let them score, right? Because then you'd have 40 seconds and 2 timeouts, which is enough time to minimum get into field goal range. Yeah, I know you probably don't let them score, but I don't think them scoring would be a negative, honestly. I know you don't let them, but I think them scoring would be better than the alternative, honestly. And if you stop them on first and second down, you have to use your timeouts. Like, you can't just let it come down to do they get a yard. And it would take 3 stops minimum, maybe 4, because LSU has a timeout. I don't understand Missouri holding on to the timeouts. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. They're going to go play action pass on third down, right? I mean, look, if they lose this game 48-45 and he ends up with 2 timeouts in his pocket, it's kind of a tough explanation. So, all right, I'm taking my eyes off the comments for a couple minutes. I'm going to watch this live, which is not exactly going to be live for me. But I expect play action pass on third down. And if that doesn't work, I guess run. Something happened because I'm getting a bunch of comments. I'm going to bet that LSU scores on third down. So this is the longest timeout maybe in football history, by the way. Missouri, I think, has every scholarship defensive lineman on the roster in the game here. Unbelievable play by Nick Bolton on third down. Unbelievable. Well, here we go. You guys already know what happened. I'm about 20 seconds from finding out. Wow, shotgun on 4th and goal from the 1. Unbelievable stand by Missouri. Josh, unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's as impressive a win as I have ever seen out of a Missouri team. That is 100% unbelievable. Nick Bolton, Josh Bledsoe, 4 stops from the 1. I was wrong. Wow. Unreal. So appreciate you guys all joining us. Missouri's going to take a knee. I'm not sure they can take a knee, honestly, from where they're at. But whatever they do, they're going to win this game. Missouri's going to win the game. And I'm going to update the stats right now. And then we are going to jump off. I'm going to end this. I'm going to go to Eli Drinkwitz's press conference. And then I'm going to be back on the post-game show. And look, guys, y'all ought to be calling in. This is a huge win for Missouri, for this program. This should be a good show that we talk about for a while when we're done here. So let me update these stats real quick just so I've got them. Okay, Missouri 586 yards, LSU 479. 430 to 406 passing. Unbelievable. Both teams over 400 yards passing. check the rushing yards. We're 180 to 49 in favor of Missouri, which is incredible. Eli Drinkwitz, I mean, that's what the first-year coach needs, man. You got to have that. LSU 0 for 10 on third down. I mean, that's your game. Missouri loses the turnover battle 3-0. It doesn't matter. Incredible effort. That game never goes Missouri's way, and it went Missouri's way today. So a lot of celebrating going on for Mizzou fans. Well-deserved, certainly. Eli Drinkwitz, big time. Connor Bazelak probably going to be the SEC Player of the Week. Again, one more thanks to Colin Gentry Law Group. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for taking part. I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to jump on Eli Drinkwitz's post-game, and then we are going to have the post-game show as soon as that's over. So hope you guys come back and give me a call. Thanks.